She doesn't.
Yeah, I'll make you a plate. Look out. How's it going? Stand by. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. We're on the radio. Holy moly, 303. Look out. It's the Kimmer Show with Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and the mechanical mangler at the controls, Flounder, with the Stones, rock and roll. Play it. Yeah, boy. 1968. This was the day the Stones scored their fifth #1 hit single in America, Jumpin' Jack Flash. Keith Richards, you know the story. He and Jagger wrote the lyrics while they were staying at Richards' country home. They were awakened one morning by the sound of the gardener, Jack Dyer, walking past the window. When Jagger asked, "What the hell was that noise?" Richards said, "Oh, that's Jack. That's Jumpin' Jack." And they wrote Jumpin' Jack Flash, and that's a true story, 1968. Anyway, how you doing? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. A couple quick things. A birthday or two, and I know, Pete Davis, you'll love this. Eva Green.
Yes.
The magnificent Eva Green is 43 today. She was the Bond girl Vesper Lind in Casino Royale. The witch turns Johnny Depp into a vampire in Dark Shadows. Never saw it. And Artemisia in 300 Rise of an Empire. Didn't see that either.
That was a sequel to 300.
300. Well, the sequel, Rise. And also Vanessa Ives on Penny Dreadful. I don't know what that is.
Oh, Penny Dreadful was a great show on Showtime, but she's naked in that 300 thing, and she's fighting a guy, and they're wrestling naked.
Well, I don't think that's fair. I don't really think that's fair. I don't think I should have to be able to look at that kind of thing because I can't take that kind of pressure. So I wish you hadn't said that. Anyway, in the studio, ta-da! It's Flounder, and the special guest, we have Amanda here today, and here's why. He wants you to put the mic over there. Oh, my God. Talk about a little anal high maintenance going. Oh, my God. Flounder just walked in to move Pete's microphone where Flounder wanted him to put it instead of off to the side. Oh, my God.
It's Abbey Road Studios all of a sudden in here.
Let me put this stuff away. All right, here's the deal. As you know, the other day, yesterday, I took Pete's blackberries. Pete lives in the mountains of Macon, let's say, and he has a blackberry patch right there at his driveway. So when he begin the other day, he gets all these beautiful blackberries.
I drive out, reach out, and pick
when I was growing up as a kid, as a baby boomer, all the places we lived as a kid were all new subdivisions, and they still had a lot of of rural land and so forth. And we used to pick blackberries and blueberries and raspberries all the time. Anyway, so I said, gee, I'll make a cobbler. Now I'm not a baker, I'm not a cook, I don't know anything about making food, but I got a recipe, and so I made blackberry cobbler last night, and I brought it in today, and Amanda's going to try some with us, and Flounder, now Sutton back, who else wants some cobbler? I told the whole gang, nobody's coming in. I guess they changed their mind. Anyway, now again, these are Pete's blackberries, and I did the recipe. You make it with flour and baking powder, although I'm a little nervous about baking. Now, Amanda, do you know anything about cooking?
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Okay, well, but when it says like a teaspoon of baking powder, is that a level teaspoon, or is there a little heaping to it, or it didn't say heaping teaspoon? So I don't know whether the baking. I don't know whether that makes a difference. I have no idea whether a little bit of grams does it make a difference. Yes. I have no. Oh God. Well, it's probably horrible. Anyway, and by the way, I'm a little nervous about shooting diarrhea going up 400 tonight too. But so here could be this could be a complete disaster, and I have no idea how this tastes. But shall we dig some out? Pete, you want to maybe give her a hand or whatever? I brought some plastic forks and found some bowls and stuff. And if you want to try it. Now, again, I can't, I've never made anything like this before. And I don't think I overcooked it. It looks really good. But again, it's kind of amazing. Now, and it said use an what do you call it? Ungreased pan. So it won't come out? Is it stuck to the side? Well, those are plastic. That's a plastic spoon, so it's kind of hard to dig it in. Yeah, use your hand. That's okay. Yeah. All right, now I have no idea whether it's going to be good or not. Pete, you want to try and thank you, Amanda, for cutting out through. So try it. See what you think. And now, sweetie, do you would you normally like a blackberry cobbler dish or something?
I've never had cobbler before, but I do like blackberry.
You never had a cobbler before? Oh, my God.
I think that might be a sign.
Pete, no. Is it horrible? You don't look too happy. Is it bad? Is it too chewy? What?
Not bad.
You're chewing the hell out of it. I don't know what that means. All right, now Man's going to try some. All right, sweetie. Oh, that for me? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I better have some or they're going to think something's up. I'm not going to have any. All right, let's try that. Now, it looks okay. I put a lot of sugar. It had the sugar and a little bit of salt, a little bit of baking powder, and a cup of flour and melted butter. and you mix that all in with, I forgot, maybe something else too, and then you put that in the pan, and then you put the berries on top of it, cook it. It said to cook it for between 45 and 55 minutes. I did it for 42 and took it out, hoping that I wouldn't overcook it because you can always put back a little. What?
It's better.
Yeah?
Better get a bucket. I'm going to puke.
No.
Walked right into that one.
Well, let me see how I like it. I'm having some.
It's not bad, actually. It's not bad. It's like biscuits. It's like you're eating biscuit.
I'm happy.
The blackberries are sweet.
Yeah,
they're not bitter.
They're not big, but they're good.
And I think I maybe overcooked it a little. I'll bet that's what I think. It's overcooked just a hair of the pastry part.
Not bad for a
but
first
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah, is it okay, sweetie?
I love it.
Yeah, it gets better.
Well, I'm going to take one more bite now.
All right, this is great radio right here.
If you're watching on Rumble or YouTube,
and we die later, you'll know why.
Yeah. Anyway, well, sweetie, if you want to take some home, help yourself, or if you want to get out of here while you still can, you do whatever you want. No, stay here, relax. We'd love to have you in the studio. We can stay here every day, 3 to 6 if you want. As far as that stupid job you're doing is trying to get in my way, to be honest with you. Anyway, 309, and whoever wants to, if see anybody out there want to try the cobbler again, I think I overcooked it just a little, just a hair. I think that's why it's a little chewy or something, but it's tasty.
Yeah, it's cobbler. It may be. I remember my great grandmother made it. It was a little more liquidy,
I think
it's a little dry.
The other thing, when it said you mix it, God, is this of interest at all? When you're supposed to make it, what you do is you take the berries and you put them in a bowl, and then you take a cup of, I think it was a cup of sugar, and mix them all together, and then leave them for 20 minutes.
Right.
And theoretically, the berries begin to form kind of a syrupy, juicy texture.
Strawberry shortcake.
Strawberry. And this did it, but it didn't do it a lot, so I don't know whether that had an effect on something or not.
You should add a little water to help it out.
I did not do that.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. But anyway, so there you are. Okay. What an idiot.
She cleaned her plate over there.
Eating food on the radio. I mean, what kind of an idiot? Nimrod. Complete douche. I mean, what you stupid idiot. What are you eating food on the radio?
Told you not
Oh, my
to do
God. Anyway, well, so we're having fun. So what? So kill me. Send me back to Vietnam. What the hell? 10 after 3 already. It's Thursday afternoon. And whoever wants, if you're in the area and you want some Blackberry cobbler, we got some left. Anyway, now, a million things. And by the way, now Flounder and Sutton didn't get it, so if they want to come in, we'll make some.
They seem reticent to.
Nobody's coming in. I think that's
one's lining up.
I'll be there at 3. You said you got. Yeah, I'll be right in there. So far, it's Amanda by herself. Poor girl. She's a freaking daredevil. I know that. Oh well, I hope you didn't get anything bad happen for this. Anyway, okay. First of all, here's a phone number if you want to call us. We have a lot of things to talk about, and a lot of it's going to be Hunter and drugs and the White House and the President white trash. I mean, the whole freaking family is just a bunch of scumbag white trash bums.
Remember how they used to make fun of Jimmy and Billy Carter?
Billy Beer, remember that? And he took a leak out in back of somebody's house or whatever, and they caught him, and he and he told my kid, Billy Carter's ruined the whole family.
This is nothing more white trash than what this Delaware brood is doing to the White House.
Every day there's a whole new set of photos from the laptop that show, just despicable. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about that. The bookies are getting involved. You can actually lay bets on whether it was Hunter Biden who left the cocaine in the White House the other day.
They're saying now that, no one has access to. First they were saying, anybody could have walked in. Now it's nobody got in there except the inside family.
First they said it was found in the library. And then it was actually found in a West Wing work area. No, contradicting both of those. Now the illicit drug was discovered in the cubbyhole of a storage facility in a dime-sized zippered bag where White House staff and guests store their phones. And then somebody says, no, it was in a place where it's not. I don't believe any of it.
No, it's all a lie.
They're a bunch of stinking liars. And by the way, how could the podium princess, Rajin Fatin, she's gay, she's black, she's a girl. Yeah, Shirley Temple. How is it possible that she can get away and say, well, I'm just not going to address that at the podium? It's your job. Yeah. What the hell is it? What do you mean you can't address it? Kiss my foot. That's your job, is to address everything we ask you. Oh, I can't address that from here. Well, how about over there and address it then, you stupid. It's unbelievable. All right, 313, hold everything. It's only Kimmer and Pete and Amanda and Flounder and Sutton, and we got the whole crew with our Blackberry cobbler. What a start. This is going to make the best
Now I know why they call it cobbler.
Why?
It kind of tastes like a shoe.
you could meld leather together with this thing. Anyway, 313 on 106.3. I gotta go. You're killing me. Look out. Here we go. violence. I mean, don't they have some kind of obligation to try to stop the democratic flow of our nation?
They've been paid off.
I mean, how is it possible that Bush and, I mean, whoever, all of them are still alive, the top, not just presidents, but vice presidents and Dan Quayle. I mean, any Republican leader from the past, where are they?
Every time Bush opens his mouth, it's to be behind what the Democrats are doing.
Unbelievable.
And to attack other conservatives.
Well, again, Democrats know how to win. I mean, they're scumbags, but they stick together. Mm-hmm. And they don't give a crap about what it looks like. They care about results. Unlike Georgia, which elected 2 liberal senators. My God. It's because of us all this is happening. Anyway.
Georgia is a Democratic state now.
We are. We're purple at the best and mostly blue. Kind of a light blue. Okay, it's 3:20. All right, here's the number, 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230 if you'd like to join us on the phone. Of course, we're on YouTube and Rumble, all kinds of good things. Okay, here we go. Hunter Biden and the cocaine at the White House, and now bookies are listing the favorite culprit if the culprit is eventually caught, to be the person who left the cocaine in the White House. And again, I don't believe anything they say about where it was found. I think they've used 3 or 4 different locations, and I don't trust any of them. They're all a bunch of stinking liars. Again, they'll do and say anything to get out of a problem.
We know where the drugs were July 4th night. They were on the balcony, ingested into that scumball.
All right. People may not have seen the video, and the wife, Dr. Jill,
I think Jill knew.
The cuckold queen. I think she's smart. I think she's snorting.
She wouldn't look at him.
Yeah.
She would not look at him. She knew what was going on. I think even Joe knew what was going on. They were both disgusted because he was doing it right there in front of God and everybody and the TV cameras. He did it in front of his children. He did it in front of his wife. And he's acting like Lenny Bruce on heroin out there, basically.
These people are white trash, entitled. I don't even know the words to describe what the entire family's like. And again, I would not put it past him if he was doing cocaine in the White House. And maybe someone brought it to him because, Daddy's been sticking with him pretty damn close. Going to get him out. Won't let him out of his sight.
Well, he's rubbing his nose there on the balcony.
Yeah,
anybody who's done cocaine, well, they're always doing this.
Allergies, yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing this he kept doing this like he's Jerry Lewis at the telethon, like 18 hours in, where he's sweating and the grease on his hair is. He's obviously on something. Yeah. Or he needs to explain what the hell is going on.
Well, even the bookies are saying the online overseas bet online sports book gives Hunter Biden a plus 170 odds as the owner of the cocaine.
That's better than Alabama's getting this year.
Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce follows with plus 800 odds. One of the Jonas Brothers plus 1,000 odds. Angelina Jolie Gamers 1,400 plus odds. President Biden and his wife, First Lady Jill, the cuckold queen, at the bottom of the pack with plus 15,000 odds, respectively. Another gambling site, sportsbetting.ag, says the same suspects and lines, with Hunter the overwhelming favorite. A Costa Rica sports book called Brovada is more generous to Hunter. Their favorite at 400 odds is a tour group guest, then Hunter at plus 200. The janitorial staff is listed at plus 1,000, and the Secret Service special agents at plus 2,000. Remember, they got caught once. Was it Reagan who changed... who did something, took a lot of actions against the Secret Service when they got caught. Was it down in Costa Rica? Remember, they had a couple of hookers and they were doing some drugs. And frankly, if you're a Secret Service agent and you're off duty, let them get a girl for the weekend. What's your problem? I mean, seriously, if you're not on duty, I mean, if you're protecting the president on duty, then that's one thing. But if you're off, from Sunday midnight till, Tuesday morning, then who says you can't make love with a woman?
Right.
I mean, what kind of deprivation is this to our American people in saving a president?
I think you're straying from the subject here.
Could have gone from the subject here for a little bit. Very possible. Anyway, in fact, Flounder, we have some entertainment here for you, because a lot of people were asking Hunter Biden, how is it possible? Why in the world would you bring cocaine? I mean, most people maybe have a beer at the White House or a glass of wine or something to celebrate being at the White House. Maybe even smoke a joint. But why in the world would you bring cocaine into the White House?
Well, he's insane.
Some get a kick from cocaine. What the hell is that?
You're dancing around like a bunch of kids.
Kansas.
Well, never mind. I mean, but first of all, think about it. What? Even Donald Trump says, does anybody really believe that the cocaine in the West Wing of the White House, very close to the Oval Office, is for the use of anyone other than Hunter and Joe? But he says, watch, the fake news media will soon start saying that the amount found was very small. It wasn't really cocaine, but rather common ground-up aspirin, and the story will vanish. Well, I'm not sure about that, but I did hear that the Al Jazeera Constipation, which didn't cover this today at all, not a word,
God.
not one stinking word.
You got to be kidding me.
Atlanta's the newspaper in the South and the whole southern United States. Well, it used to be. Used to have two of them, but again, the one. At the Atlanta, Journal Constipation, not a word. Not a stinking word.
The whole country's talking about what happened on the balcony, and they're
But
not doing
they
anything.
did have Mike Luck Hates Americovich did a column where he said actually that white powder, people were mistaken. That white powder was actually Hunter Biden's ground up bone marrow because he stopped on his way to the White House for the 4th of July to help some AIDS patients in the children's ward to give them his own bone marrow for transplants to save their lives. So Hunter was saving lives of children on the 4th of July, and that's what that white powder was. We were all totally misunderstanding it. Well, Senator Tom Cotton's not misunderstanding. He's written a letter to the Secret Service. One, he wants to demand, how in the world does cocaine get into the White House? By the way, don't they have drug-sniffing dogs everywhere?
You thought they did. We're paying for it.
Don't you have to empty your pockets when you go into the freaking White House?
Not if you're...
I'm sure their dogs are more bomb-sniffing.
Well, yeah, but still,
dogs.
No, they're supposed to be sniffing for fentanyl and stuff like that.
You would think. I mean, or anthrax. Look, is somebody bringing a pot of anthrax or some poison?
If this was Hunter being A, stupid, and 2, entitled to think nothing would happen to him if he was caught, he'd get away with it. Yeah. If someone had given him some stuff with the fentanyl in it, he could have killed everybody in there.
Right.
So that's why they have to find out who did it.
Yeah. Well, again, how in the world does it get into the White House? And I mean, actually, you have to empty your pockets. Doesn't you can't just walk through with your pockets full of things, and I mean maybe it isn't metal, but I mean in other words, you tell me that I could walk into the West Wing with my pockets bulging with items that were not metallic, and nobody would say empty your freaking pockets.
I'm glad you said things.
I mean, what a bunch of crap! I can't believe this.
I don't want to hear the word
bulging pockets.
Well,
I don't want to hear the word bulging in your pants.
It's not a visitor. There's no way a visitor would be walking through.
It's Hunter.
Yeah, my God. Or one of his people.
What are the odds that this would happen in this administration, in the middle of all this drug stuff with Hunter, that this would happen right now? It's never happened before.
Never. That we know. I mean, unless it was out. But again, I mean, this is how in the world did it get in? It's impossible that it was a guest who would have emptied your pockets. It had to be a staff member, a member of the family, or a Secret Service agent, or somebody in cahoots with cocaine use at that part of the White House. Now, who would be doing that?
Maybe a bigger question is, why are we hearing about it? They're not covering for him anymore.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of covering. Although yesterday they asked President White Trash, Mr. White Trash, how is it possible that cocaine got in the White House? And he just laughed. He just laughed. There's a video of him now where they asked the question out loud when he was meeting with whoever it was, and he just starts laughing.
Oh, he's going to laugh it away.
I swear to
huh?
God, he just laughed. I mean, it's unbelievable. Anyway, hold on. Well,
you know who else laughs at serious questions?
Yeah.
People on drugs.
That's right. It's like they get caught on cheaters and they start laughing because they know they've been screwed and nothing they can do about it.
You really got to watch that show.
I got to watch that show. It's on Marathon. I can't stop. I watch it every night.
Well, by the way, Grubinator says that you should throw some Depends in your car trunk just in case.
Oh, very funny. I already have them, just for proof. Anyway, it's 3:29. It's only the Kid Repeat and Flounder and Sons back there, too, with Cobbler everywhere on the 106.3. 3:34 almost. How you doing? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. 106.3 with Pete Davis, sidekick producer and sports raconteur extraordinaire, and mechanical mangler Philander at the controls. Sutton's in the back there as well. If you want to give us a call, the number's 404-741-1230. I play a little music here. Sorry, dear Philander. Here we go. We're playing U2 because on this day in 2012, a chick named Carol Hawkins, the personal assistant for bass player Adam Clayton. The girl was jailed for 7 years because she embezzled about $3 million of her boss's money to fund her lavish lifestyle. She was convicted on 181 counts of theft from the bass player's bank accounts over a 4-year period. Judge said your crimes are rooted in nothing but greed, and that's it. There's 181 counts. That sounds like Hunter Biden's banking shenanigans with the foreign banks. Anyway, you two at this day in 2012. Okie doke. So something's breaking. We have something just in now. Flounder, here it is now. I don't know what it is yet. It's brand new.
We've been talking about Zuckerberg trying to take over the social media world because that's who we want in charge.
Threads or whatever they call it.
Threads,
new thing.
Yeah, which I haven't got anywhere near.
No,
and probably won't.
I don't even know what it is.
Turns out they were able to get this Twitter clone up and running pretty quick here.
Yeah.
And now we kind of know why. Because Zuckerberg hired a bunch of the Twitter employees that Elon fired or got disgruntled and left because a bunch of liberal pussies. And basically, they took their work phones and documents from Twitter with them. And now Elon Musk says, oh, really? I'm taking you to court.
Well, isn't that proprietary information?
It's one of those three.
It's either proprietary or proprietary. I don't remember. And I'm a former spelling champion, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, you can't do that. That's espionage in business.
Well, that's Zuckerberg.
Oh, my God. What does he think he is? Freaking Martian.
What does he think he is, South Korean?
Look at his face. Look at the spacing between his eyes and his forehead. There's something wrong with it. I'm telling you, he's not of this world.
I hope Elon gets an injunction that they have to shut this thing down the day after they start it.
Until they investigate. I mean, this could take years.
Yeah.
Shut them down. Oh, my God. This is
well,
good.
will this affect their fight?
Well, they're talking about they're both training.
Well, I wonder if they're actually going to do it.
Elon looks like a Pillsbury Doughboy right now. So he admitted it. He goes, I got some work to do.
Yeah.
I got to get back in shape here.
We'll see. Yeah, I guarantee that snotty little Martian Zucker puke has got, rays coming out of his palms of his hand or something.
How could you find yourself in your life rooting for Mark Zuckerberg?
I know, that's just not right. And by the way, the movie, which I now Social Network, was a great movie. I thought it was a great. Now he hated it because he said it was all a bunch, but I'll bet it was pretty accurate and it was really well done. Did you see it? Have you ever seen the movie?
No, I have not seen that.
Are you serious?
It just doesn't interest me.
Oh my God! Yeah,
one of these days,
it's about Facebook.
I don't care about it.
Trust me. Plus, you know who's in it with one of the girls who's in it.
I know. One day I will watch it. I just watched In Bruges. By the way, Flounder, have you ever seen In Bruges?
You were just talking about that the other day. Who's the hottie in there now?
It's no really hot. It's a good-looking girl, but she's not a star or anything. But it's the best thing Colin Farrell ever did.
Farrell,
about two hitmen that screw up in England and they're sent to Belgium.
Yeah.
And it's hysterical. It is so good.
Well, there you are. A couple of things. We'll move on to the thing there. A couple of birthdays. 50 Cent, 48 years old today.
He's almost.
How's that?
He's almost 50.
Almost 50. Jeffrey Rush, very, very good actor. Yes. Captain Barbossa in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Colin Firth's speech therapist in The King's Speech.
Yep.
And what was the other one he did? Was great. Wasn't it a musical?
Oh, gosh, he's done
so 1,000
many
things. Jeffrey Rush, 72. Anyway, just a great actor.
And they tried to cancel him 2 or 3 years ago for something. I forget. He said something or whatever, and they tried to cancel him.
I don't remember. And on this day, 1942, Anne Frank and her family take refuge in a sealed-off area of a warehouse in Amsterdam to hide from the Nazis. 1942 on this day. They get caught in 1944, and Frank died the next year at Bergen-Belsen concentration camp from disease and Lack of health care. Anyway, well, you had bad health care. You know, Democrats in charge over there. The Nazis, the American Democrat Nazi Party. That's what the Germans were.
I think we've got the text of the day here.
All right, sir.
Chris says, I'm a trans man. My biology will always show I was born female. My sex is female. The whole point of trans. My gender is male. I don't care about the chromosomes. I don't care about the science. To which Shannon Burke replied, then shut the blank up about it already.
If you don't care, what do you think we care?
The world doesn't revolve around you people. We will never accept your identity. At the same time, we don't give a blank. Do your thing. You're in the freest country on the planet. Is that not enough? You'd be beheaded and thrown off a building anywhere else.
Well, as long as you bring it up, guess what?
What?
Oh, by the way, coming up, if you haven't heard the national anthem by this America hater Jill Scott, we're going to play it for you shortly. Also, speaking of that, Pete Davis, and have you heard the story about the woman on the airplane flight in the air who went nuts, had a total meltdown?
Good-looking woman.
That she thought, good-looking, yeah, running up and down, screaming in the air. I mean, while they're flying, screaming and saying, "There's that man. That's not a real man. It's not a human back there sitting in that seat. It's not a human being. It's not a human being." And everybody went nuts, and the flight had to be stopped and delayed for 4 hours. They had to get her off the thing, and
I just realized something.
Yeah.
Because we were listening to an eyewitness.
Yeah.
Who said she was talking to a guy in a hood.
Yeah.
He couldn't really see his face or anything, but the guy wasn't saying anything. She was doing all the talking and getting madder and madder and madder.
Yeah.
Could it have been she saw death?
Do we have that guy? Do we have that audio, or is that there was a bad word in
No,
it?
we got it.
Do you want to do
So
that?
what do you want to do? What are we playing first?
Actually, tell you what. We'll come back to that because I want to do the.
You started it.
I know I did start it. Well, hell, let's do it now. Then.
Yeah, let's do it now.
Let's do it now. Okay, here's the
do it
deal.
live.
Let's
Do it live. Do it live.
All right, here's the story. Hold everything. All right, she was on an American Airlines flight. Freaking out, expletive-laden meltdown. The flight was preparing to leave. I guess they were still before they left Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. And she said, well, actually, I think there's sound of her first, and then the guy. You'll hear a guy who was on the flight. We'll come back. Whoops, sorry.
No, that's not it.
Here we go.
There we go.
Stand by. This is the lady.
Typeboard.
We don't even know her name, do we? Is this her name? I don't think.
Say whatever you want.
Here we go.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two
No.
but I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
It's death.
Now,
she saw death.
Do we? Is the guy also on there?
Yeah, we have it.
Okay, here's the guy who was on the flight.
I noticed this exchange between this woman and this dude in a hoodie. And it was kind of weird at the time because it seemed like no one else before she really started getting frantic, was paying attention to this. But that makes sense. It was like a normal flight. This was after putting all the luggage away. We'd been on the plane for a little bit. It was before the flight attendant came over and gave the little spiel. And what I remember, she was having a full-blown conversation with this dude in the hoodie. I'll call him the hoodie guy. She was having a full-blown conversation with hoodie guy. The weird thing was that he never once said a word to her the whole time. And at the time, I don't know, I wasn't really thinking about it. But it's like she would say something and he would respond, but there was no exchange happening. It was just her getting more and more frantic. Which, okay, if she's drunk and she's going crazy, then you would think the dude in the hoodie would have been like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? But he was just dead locked on her, deep eye contact with her. I don't want to feed into the conspiracies here, but almost like she was in a hypnosis type of thing. And she started getting more and more frantic to the point where then people started kind of noticing. Flight attendant came over, tried to calm her down, what's going on? She sat back down, but she kept looking over at this dude in the hoodie, and finally she was done with it. And that's when I really started paying attention, okay, what the going on? And that's when she was I can't do this. She started getting up. She started walking up to the front, and then the whole video thing happened. I didn't take a video of it. I was listening to a Stephen King audiobook. I wasn't pulling out my phone to record this. And she didn't seem drunk to me, by the way. Just throwing that out there. I didn't see her drink. I mean, she seemed totally normal to me up until that point. The weird thing was after she left the plane, the dude in the hoodie, which the flight attendant was did anything happen? And he still didn't say a word. He just went and like shrugged. The dude in the hoodie like looked around the plane and he looked back at me and he winked at me. And again, I didn't quite register it. I was like, okay, what the was that about? I was like, maybe he's just being like an ass, like winking. Like, that was weird, wasn't it? But now that I look back, I realized that when he winked at me, and it was his left eye looking back at me, it didn't wink like this. It winked like this.
He's saying it didn't wink up and down.
And I
winked
didn't
sideways.
even
Reptile.
register.
Reptile.
Wow.
Okay. Okay.
So why didn't they go back and say, sir, I mean, talk to him, see him, get the video? I mean, come on, in modern day, nobody had a cell phone?
Who doesn't say a word but wears a hoodie?
Yeah.
Death.
Yeah. Well, it could have been death.
Or reptilian death.
Could have been reptilian death.
Well, the funny thing is no one questioned this guy at all.
I know.
Like, you figured like a stewardess would have come up and said, sir, are you all right?
Yeah.
At some
anything.
point, yeah, I'm walking up to him going, what'd you do to her?
By the way, if
What'd
they
you
had
do?
the video, I mean, they had the video of her running up and down screaming bad words. So why didn't they hold the video of the guy she was talking about?
Yeah. This
Where's
is weird.
the video and how come he didn't? I mean, I don't believe
And then
I
you
can't
have
get any of this.
This guy saying it's a reptile. This guy says it's a reptile, and he's reading a Stephen King novel. This sounds all
I
set
was going
up.
sideways. Maybe it's a thing for TikTok to get. Could she make money off of this? We don't even know her name. How could this be beneficial to anybody?
No, because it would have to go to a single TikTok account for them to get all the clicks. I would think.
Remember Men in Black? The first time, what's his face sees the alien, and the alien blinks, and he blinks sideways. And that's how he's like, "What the?"
Oh man, this is curiouser and curiouser. Really, I'm starting to wonder now more than I did before. Well, it's quarter four, Pete.
It's a Grim
Flounder and
Reaper.
a Kipper right here. What's Sutton? Here we go. Oh, hold on.
Typeboard.
That's AI.
Yeah, play back.
That was AI Tug.
AI, totally AI.
Oh.
Yeah, but here's Elton. There we go. Sing it for me. Elton John, on this day in 2001, set to sell the most expensive pair of shoes in history when a pair of his sandals went under the hammer for charity. Elton John was offered over 20,000 pounds. That's like 25, 30 grand for the Salvatore Ferragamo sandals to raise money for his AIDS trust. That was 2001. Well, there you go. Let's see a couple quick things here. Birthday time. Remember on Charlie's Angels, one of the later Charlie's Angel ladies was Shelley Hack. Remember her?
Not good
skinny.
Looking.
She was a kind of a typical skinny
Model.
anorexic runway model. Yeah. And she in fact she did didn't she do Charlie Perfume or something like that?
Well, who was the one with the gap tooth that did it first? Who was the gap tooth model?
Yeah, I remember.
Well, I think you're right. Shelley
Hack is 76. She was Tiffany Wells on Charlie's Angels.
Yeah,
She was one of the
good
later ones. But she was like just skinny as pretty, but like a runway skinny, not good. And let's see. I'll go. Oh, here we go. I remember this. In 1987, Chris Christopherson, who by the way his father was a colonel and a military man. Chris Christopherson was an Army helicopter pilot. Never went to Vietnam, but it was at that time. He was offered a job to teach at West Point, decided to take in his music career instead. His family hated him for years. I think they may have finally come to grips with it before his father finally died. But there was a military family, and he was a hippie musical guy after being in the Army. And on this day in 1987, this did not help him at all. Chris Christopherson had to publicly apologize after a Vietnam veterans group gave him a special plaque, and it was found in the trash. He threw it in the garbage. And he later donated $1,000 to the Vietnamese Veterans Association. Chris Christopherson threw his plaque.
Well, those are different times, man.
But that was the 80s. I mean, that was in 1973.
Oh, really? I thought it was the 60s.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, this was 1980.
He's a dick, then.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, he was.
That's it.
All right, 351. A little. What was that?
I think we should go back to this UFO stuff. This alien stuff. It's really...
Well, it's the Art Bell show in the middle of the afternoon.
Well, now let's think about it a second. What amazes me, again, these are people, of course, you're told when you get on the plane to turn off your phone. So maybe they did. Why is there video evidence of her and the sound? I mean, it's like a motion picture team was there, but nothing on the guy and nothing on... They all had to leave the plane for like 3 hours.
There's cameras that record you coming in and off the plane, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's security. I mean, but how come nobody else got a picture of the guy in the hood?
I know what he's a slee stack.
I don't know what that is.
What was it? Land of the Lost? Remember Land of the Lost?
Oh my God! I do.
They scared the hell out of us when we were kids.
Yes, it did.
In the 70s,
77 or whatever.
Slee stacks.
Oh my God! Who knows? I mean, nothing makes any sense.
Do you believe in reptile people? Do you think there are reptile people?
No, I do not.
Huh.
But I'm willing to say that I don't know, and if there is one, I would say I think anything's possible. I don't know. I mean,
they live underneath this underground, and we don't know.
There could be a whole new dimension we don't know about.
Well, Edgar Rice Burroughs, the Tarzan guy, wrote a whole series of books called The Adventures of Pellucidar, which is what he called it. It was an inner world inside of our world.
Well, I would not. Who's to say? I mean, literally, who's to say how many dimensions there are? Or we could be a dream of some,
No, we're not a dream.
We could be a dream.
Here we go again.
Well, I could.
No, you can touch and you can feel. I just. We're a dream. We're in a matrix.
Yeah, we're in a matrix. All right. Excuse me.
Well, Flounder, you happy?
Did we find did we find some comedy bits? We're trying to remember to do a comedy bit at least every hour. Just some of our favorite comedians. Did you have one in there, Flounder? Just offhand?
Yes, I do.
All right, we'll do it here. Coming up, you're going to hear this mixed national anthem business, which is driving me nuts. And in fact, it has spurred us with a Pete Davis idea for something we may be doing tomorrow. We'll get to her in a second. First of all, how about a little laugh track, and then we'll get into some hate mail here on our YouTube responses.
So I cook, I clean, I do the laundry, I take care of our daughter all day. So I feel like I finally get it for the first time in my life, all the work that women have been doing for thousands of years. Yeah. And I gotta say, it is not that hard, actually.
Short but sweet.
It is clean the house, cook dinner. It ain't that hard. Thought I don't want to do it.
Anyway, are we getting some nasty comments here?
Few curmudgeons. First of all, it's a sign of intelligence if you don't like the movie In Bruges. I'm sorry. It's a sign of intelligence.
Okay.
It's like saying The Godfather 2 sucked or something like that.
And do you remember what year we're talking? Is this like from the 90s
this is
or
about
2000?
18 years ago, I'd say. Maybe 15.
2008.
2008. Okay. 15 years. That was pretty good. 15 years. So we got Mark doesn't like it. Mark hates it. Says it's like dying watching that movie. Sophia loves it. The only thing Sophia's ever loved is this movie, which makes me question. Anyway, so her and Mark are going at it, and he goes, I might have to start taking Kimmer's side against you, Sophia. And she says, go for it. Best of luck.
Oh, I like it.
And then Cindy says, ding, ding, round one.
Oh, my nipples are getting hard as a rock. I don't know about you. Can't speak for anybody else around here.
Oh, yeah. Because Sophia didn't like how you started the show.
Sophie doesn't like anything about me. She doesn't like my name, my voice, my face.
She didn't like the cooking
my
segment.
attitude, she didn't like my Blackberry freaking Cobbler.
That. And she didn't like the reptilian talk.
For God's sake.
By the way, this reminds me, this whole Blackberry thing, you would see not Life of Brian, Meaning of Life by Monty Python. Speaking of death, where he goes, what killed all of us?
Now.
And he goes, the salmon moose. The Blackberry Cobbler.
If I have shooting, diarrhea on the way home, 285, I'm going to 400. I'm pulling over, and I'm coming right back here. Anyway, oh mercy. Well, again, if you want to come, if you're listening, Rumble or YouTube or whatever, if you're a curmudgeon or not, we're glad to hear from you, and we're always very happy to if you want to make us.
Okay, Flounder. Have you ever had a supernatural experience in your life then? Like this woman obviously has had or thought she had.
I don't believe I have.
How about you, Kimmer?
I remember as a young teenager, maybe 12, 13, 14, I remember...
Of course he has a story.
I really, it's a vague thing. I remember feeling that I had been taken over. Right? I remember feeling that I had come back to my room or something from sleeping or from being somewhere else, as though I was not in control of my own being. And it wasn't scary.
I can't remember squad.
And I wasn't. I don't remember being afraid, but I remember being kind of freaked. So I don't know what that feeling is. Maybe just
somebody famous just said something like that recently. That they felt that they weren't in control anymore. Do you remember that story? It was out just a few days ago.
Really,
that's
I didn't
weird.
see that one. It wasn't like someone was control. Well, it wasn't. I was doing things I didn't want to do. It wasn't that. But it's just that someone had been in me and had been part of me.
Excuse
me. Wasn't there anymore.
What?
Hello.
So kind of like you remember walking down the hallway and waking up in somebody's office.
Yeah. No, that was true.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
What was true? The gay porn?
No, the hypnotism.
He just said that was true.
Semper Fudge was a famous movie. From
all these years we've been having fun with that, not knowing.
It was actually a true story.
Well, but Wayne, no offense, actually has that ghost story that he tells.
Didn't we have video of that? Didn't he take a picture? Or was that another thing? I think he took a picture and saw a ghost.
Maybe on our ghost
No,
hunts.
I think it was when he was in Iraq.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I think he was in Iraq, not Afghanistan, when he was in the Air Force, and I think you remember him showing me a picture of a ghostly figure. I think from when he was in the Air Force, if I'm not mistaken. But he did have some kind of supernatural or
in the barracks.
Yeah.
It was just him. Yeah.
I think. And
he
that's what
swears. He says, "As I'm sitting here with you, that thing was sitting in there with me."
Well, so you got to. I mean. Man, and even if it's only in our brains, then how is it possible we have something in there that we were born with that we don't know about that controls things in a whole nother life?
I still think it's another dimension, and every once in a while they cross over in us or we cross over. And I still think that's what the UFO thing is. I think it's interdimensional. I don't think they're coming from billions of light years away. That'd be very hard to do.
Again, I don't think we have the capacity to ever understand it, and I'm hoping when we die, we get a clue. That's my dream. I've mentioned many times. When we die, I hope you get a tour. A little angel, maybe somebody who loved your life said, "Oh, you're made. Oh, here. Well, let's go look at the dinosaurs, and here's the Big Bang.
Your guardian angel.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at the caveman. Oh my God, there's a guy who discovered fire. Woo, woo! You got to see the guy who discovered. How would you like to know that when you die, you get a trip with an angel on everything that ever happened? That would be something you've always wondered. And, how about the first guy who found fire? Can you imagine the first guy who somehow, how did he do it? That was from a lightning strike and he picked up a burning bush, but the first guy who took a flint and made fire happen. How can you imagine?
I think it was a lightning strike and they saw it.
But then how do you go from making a rock?
Yeah.
I mean, the first guy who threw a rock against a rock and saw a spark.
I want to know.
Then how do you go from a spark to doing it to get a flame?
I want.
All right, we gotta go. Really, I'm so sorry. We're late. 4 o'clock. Look out. It's only the Kimmer and Pete and Flounder and Suds back there. Saturday night, oh, Saturday night, da da da. Da 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 da.
Okay,
It's a little
enough of
bum,
it.
but this sounds more like a 1975 song, doesn't it?
This was my ex-wife's favorite song.
Really?
In the 70s, yeah.
Yeah. This sounds like one of the bubblegum teen rock songs.
Well, you remember when what's-his-face, Howard Cosell, tried to do an Ed Sullivan-type variety show on
Yeah,
Saturday night?
yeah.
And he started off thinking that this was his Beatles.
Yeah.
And he had them on the show.
Yeah, and of course that didn't work.
Nope.
Bay City Rollers, this day 1992, a guy named David Gates from Gateshead, Northumberland, I guess that's England, got a probation sentence after being caught stealing guitars from the back of the van belonging to the Bay City Rollers in 1992.
Probation or double secret
You
probation?
guys had regular probation, I think. Let's see. Quick birthday action here, if I can find one we care about. Kevin Hart, the comedian's 44.
Funny guy.
For the record. He was good in the 40-Year-Old Virgin, and when he came in to try to get the special deal on the VCRs and stuff. Wasn't that him? And when he said, "Give my brother and give me a
Never
little
seen the
discount."
whole
Yes.
thing.
Yeah,
I just got a yes from Sutton.
There you go. Let's see what else we got here. I got one more.
He does buddy movies like eating popcorn, man. Everything he puts out is a buddy movie with somebody.
He does a lot of commercials too. I see him all the
yeah.
time popping up. Anyway, good for him. Fred Dreyer. Sergeant Rick Hunter on Hunter, the TV show, was lasted by a season or two, and he was also the first choice to play Sam Malone on Cheers.
Really?
And turned it down. I remember that. Fred Dreyer, 77. He was a defensive lineman with the L.A. Rams back in the.
I remember
early
when he
days, too.
played. Yeah,
I
the
remember him.
Falcons played him every year.
Absolutely. I remember him very absolutely. Let's see. One historical note here, if you don't mind. 1972, speaking of the 70s, the U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis lets girls in, and 81 females were sworn in as officer cadets. Joined the Navy to ride the way. Oh, sorry. No, that's an old thing. We got to say that. All right, 404-741-1230, 741-1230, if you want to join us. We're on Rumble and YouTube. Okay, we talked about the meltdown of the airplane. Here's something else which has been kind of driving us cuckoo here for a while, too. There's a woman named Jill Scott. And she, for many, many years, has been performing a national anthem, which she wrote when she was 19 years old. And I think she's 51 or 2 or something now. And she's a well-known curmudgeon R&B hater and actor named Jill Scott. And she is explaining why she does not sing the Star-Spangled Banner at sporting events. She has a completely different anthem. She's referring to the one that she wrote as a teenager living in Philadelphia, a biting critique of racial inequality in America. And she performed her rewrites again touring this year. She was at the Essence Fest in New Orleans, celebrating black artists and black women. Been doing it for 30 years, crowds of 500,000 people. And her name is Jill Scott, and here is her version of how she wrote the national anthem when she was a teenager. Think we have her here, Sean, coming up here shortly? Or not? Don't we have it?
Excuse me 1 second.
All right, sir.
Excuse me while I look this up.
Oh, say, can you see?
This won't last forever.
She can't sing.
No, she can't. By the blood. Thank you.
By the blood in the street.
Can you see by the blood in the streets?
Doesn't even
She's
rhyme.
Trying to say there. You know.
That this place doesn't smile.
Oh my God! Well, we can't go through the whole thing with
This
this.
place doesn't
Crap.
slime?
On you, colored child.
Can you see by the blood in the streets that this place doesn't smile on you, colored child?
Blood built this land.
All right.
Oh, my God.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to kill myself.
I know. I'm gonna kill you too.
I'm going to beg you.
Hell, I'd run over your grandmother. Who's a famous sports guy? One guy said, "Boy, to win the World Series, I'd run over my grandmother." The guy said, "I'd run over your grandmother too to win the World Series." Famous sports guys. Anyway, she says, "Or the land of the free and the home of the brave. This is not the land of the free, but the home of the slaves."
Where are the...
yeah.
Point out the slaves.
Exactly. Everyone, she says, everyone rise for the only national anthem we'll be recognized recognizing from this day forward, Jill Scott, we thank you. Performances, a formality of sporting events started in the 1940s after World War II. In recent years, after Michael Brown and George Floyd, and all of a sudden you get the slime baggy Colin Kaepernick and all the rest of these people, and on and on and on. But this Jill Scott person explained that she's always hated white people because she can't be one, and she looks in the mirror and says, "Crap, I'm still black." When she gets up in the morning, and she says, she's sick and tired of the black guys just hitting you if you don't do what they want. She just doesn't like the men or white people. So.
How stupid do you have to be to constantly live in a country that you think hates you?
Yeah,
why are Delta's ready when you are?
Well, it's like Dave Portnoy said yesterday. It's like if you don't go somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, we keep saying, I don't know why would you stay here? I mean, if you're that miserable, why would you wake up every day and being ticked off? I mean, seriously, I'd go to Costa Rica and just live in the. I work in the factory in Mexico.
I hear there's almost an entire continent with people that look just like her.
I'll be damned.
That would just
that she could go to.
That she could go to. Now she won't make anywhere near the same money.
She's not going to make her money. No,
there's no racism industry there.
No, not at all. No. Oh my God.
I mean, seriously.
I mean, come on. This is just.
So we thought before the show that we'd come up with our own national anthem.
Well, we'll do that tomorrow.
As a response to Ms. Scott.
In fact, Flounder, if you like writing your own national, and Sutton, if you want to write your own.
Well, we should write a verse.
Well, for example, say, can you see those stupid idiots over there? The people who hate our country because, or something like that. We do a little satire on another version.
And I must be blunt. You're a stupid
individual. Anyway, we'll
that's copyrighted too.
Come up with tomorrow. You got that one tomorrow? Okay, I'll do a different one then.
Patent pending.
Coming up for tomorrow. The whole world screwed up. I love this guy Ramirez, one of the political cartoonists. Richard, I think his first name is Richard Ramirez, and he's in the Al Jazeera Constipation frequently.
Richard Ramirez was the
Michael,
the Night Stalker.
The Night Stalker. In fact,
I was living out there when this was going on. He was killing from San Diego to L.A. and people were afraid at night.
You got nothing.
Oh, go for it then.
I covered the first story of the Night Stalker killings in San Francisco. I covered the first one. I went into the house and saw the blood writing on the wall.
Why didn't you catch him?
He was too fast.
He was young and fast at the time.
I covered that story.
We were talking all from San Diego to San Francisco. People were locking their doors.
Well, on the other hand, there was the Night Stalker. It was like must have been 84, 85, maybe 83, 4, somewhere there. And I was working for some reason. I was working the weekend shift at KRON, and it was a NBC network station in San Francisco, and I did a feed for the network, as I recall. In fact, I was on NBC News that night doing a story on the Night Stalker. So somewhere in the file of NBC is the Kim Peterson for NBC News. Anyway, and they said, well, there's a murder case that's pretty gruesome. So I went out there with a minicam crew, and it was a slaughter at this Asian guy's house, whatever, and there was blood on the wall. It was horrible. And after that, I mean, then the whole California, San Diego to San Francisco just went nuts. However, after a couple of days, I remember we also covered the story of people who were putting up big signs on the roof. Try me, Night Stalker. It was guys saying, I dare you. Yeah. I'm ready for you. Yeah. I mean, but it was a whole thing, and eventually they caught him, and I think he died.
He got married in jail too, I believe.
I'm trying to remember. It was some weird.
There were women lining up.
Yeah. Maybe is he still? I think he's dead. I'm not. I should probably Google it. Should have done before I came. Anyway,
you're talking about Michael Ramirez.
Michael Ramirez. Michael Ramirez is a political cartoonist and very clever and creative and a good artist and a good clever guy. It's a picture today of a classroom, a teacher in a classroom with a globe and people on the blackboard, little girl at the blackboard, and the question on the blackboard says, "Today's lesson is racism." Question. Judging someone not by the content of their character, but strictly by the color of their skin is called, and little girl writes down, affirmative action. Duh. I mean, who didn't know that? Finally, the Supreme Court said, no, it's racism. Affirmative action is racism based on color. I mean, we all knew it, and we've been getting away with it for 50 years, and finally they're not. By the way, speaking of racial things, remember the case in the 1985 rape case, a gang rape case called the Central Park Five. 5 young black guys were convicted of gang raping a woman who went to prison for years, and then DNA evidence cleared them. In fact, one of the guys had admitted he did it. In fact, several of them, I think, admitted they did it. And this one guy, Yusef Salam, has now been elected to the Central Park and to the City Council in New York City. So good for him. All right, 4:13, time for the 4:13 break. I can't believe we're on time here.
Actually, son was just let me know that the Night Stalker had died in 2013.
Did it say why? Was it natural? I don't remember where somebody killed him in prison. I can't remember.
I think it was injection,
we'll check
probably.
it out. I don't know. Anyway, now it's 4:14, time for the 4:13 break. Look at what's in that. You want me to do this now under the music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do it
I like
live.
this. I like it. Do it live. How you doing? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. 419, almost 420 with Pete Davis, Flounder, and Sons back there. And our friends at Atlanta Safe House. Man, I love this company. I've had 2 safes from Atlanta Safe House. And unfortunately, when I moved and then went out of state, of course, I had bolted the safe into these guys are so good, Atlanta Safe House. They actually bolted my Browning safe into my garage floor, concrete, and the other one into my house in my game room. Anyway, so when I was down in Florida, like an idiot 20 years ago, I didn't keep my medical records. If I had had my Atlanta Safe House safe that I'd gotten down there, I'd be all set to fight with the stupid Veterans Administration. Anyway, don't be like the Kimmer. Get your Atlanta Safe House before you wish you'd had it before. They've been doing this for decades. A non-woke company. You can trust these folks to keep you safe. Protect your assets. Gun safes, jewelry safes, business safes, high security safes. How about a vault door? How about the big red safe? Very, very famous. Browning dealer, the biggest one in the Southeast. American Security, Fort Knox, all the thing. #1 delivery dealer. They can install it anywhere you want. A home, office, in the ceiling, or in your back of your car if you want it. Anything you're looking for. They really take care of business. Tell them the Kimmer sent you. Here's how you get a hold of Atlanta Safe House. Pretty easy. AtlantaSafeHouse.com. Yeah, boy. Little Phil Collins here for you. Was on this day 1985. Phil Collins hit #1 on the American singles chart with Susu Studio. His third #1 hit. It was only number 12 in the UK. That's kind of surprising. It was taken from his third solo studio album, No Jacket Required.
Well, he obviously had more taste at that time.
Well, I never liked. I don't like
it's
jazz.
A bad song.
I don't like jazz music anyway, and I really don't like jazz rock and roll.
You didn't like Genesis then? You didn't like?
No, there were a couple of Genesis I did. In fact, there's one Phil Collins, Take Me Home or something I really like a lot. I do like several Phil Collins songs, but not the Susu Studios like jazzy. Hey ho, how you doing? Hoo ha. That's not good. I like music. I like harmony. I like harmony, and I like beautiful notes and chords. That's why I love barbershop. And I love barbershop music. In fact, I used to get the yearly winners of the barbershop contest, competition.
Yeah.
And I love it at the end when they go, on the Mississippi, and they go, well, not
That's
yodeling, is that the same
exactly
thing?
what it is.
Anyway, all right. Sorry, I brought it up. Let's see, birthday time. Remember the TV show Moonlighting that gave Bruce Willis his start? And that hot blonde who went naked in Sybil Shepherd, who jumped into the pool naked in that movie about the Texas people in black and white in the
Last Picture
Show. Alice Beasley was the secretary in Moonlighting.
Yes.
Alice Beasley is 72 years old today. That's how I got
that. Was so much like the old Thin Man movies. The writing was so crisp in those shows.
Yep. Also Tenzin Gyatso is 88 today. Tenzin Gyatso is the 14th Dalai Lama.
The
You've
one who
seen
likes
this
to
picture.
Have his tongue sucked by a little boy.
Yeah, that was so. He did a tongue kiss with a child, and then he had. Oh, that was wrong. Yeah, it was wrong, sir. I'm sorry.
I think he's almost like a man child.
Well, he's like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he's kind of like Michael Jackson.
Well, when you've been that sheltered, I mean, but is it true that they picked him because they had a bunch of personal objects like a pair of sunglasses, a pair of glasses, and a book, and a toaster thing, and a pen, and a something or other all lined up, and they told this little boy, okay, go over and look at all these things and see if anything interests you or whatever. And the kid went over immediately and picked up the glasses, and he said, "You're the Dalai Lama."
It was either that or he snatched the pebble from his hand.
Go on your way, grasshopper. And put your hands around that burning urn filled with hot ashes.
Okay, I snatched
the
the
door
pebble.
will open.
Okay, for your next trick.
I'm not burning. I'm not doing the burning urn. I'm sorry. I'm not picking up the kettle of fire. I'm sorry.
Do it. I always ask myself, and I asked you this the other day, would you do that?
Well, sure, if you've been trained for it.
Well, you've been branded.
I've been branded by it's still there.
Oh, okay. All right. 2 weeks ago, we're walking out here, Flounder. We're walking by Truist Park to go to the parking deck, right? And some guy yells out, "Hey, Semper Fi, Marine," something like that. And he shows a tattoo. He pulls up his shirt and shows a tattoo to Kimmer. So what does this man do? I'm walking. I hear Kimmer drop back behind me. And he pulls up his arm and he goes,
The one y'all did hit in the studio?
Yeah, in the studio.
he goes, Brandon, I got it, Brandon.
Well, now we got to tell the story very quickly. We were all on radio together. Wayne, no offense, and you and I. Was Wayne no offense and you and I in the studio, yeah. And the story was that a local football coach had been fired or disciplined or something because 3 of his players had taken a safety pin or a bobby pin, heated it up, and put a burning dot on their chest. Yeah. A teeny little dot that no one could see, but the coach knew about it, or said he told him, or I don't know if he was there, but he knew about it, and nothing happened. And so they
branding.
You're on the radio, and so they either suspended or fired or something the coach. And I thought this was so stupid. And I said, in fact, I'm gonna support that coach. And I'm going to make sure, and I said, let's all do I'm going to do a little thing here to show his support for our little team here. And so Pete and Wayne, no offense, took a paper clip and several paper and formed them into the letters USMC. And heated them up in a pair of pliers and heated up with a cigarette lighter until it was like red hot, burning. And then put it, and we took some like ice water or something on my arm first, and then put the heated up letter U on my bicep finger, and you could hear the sizzle.
Oh yeah, and smell it.
You could hear going.
Wasn't there a woman in there too? Who was the lady that was in there with us doing it?
God, was there?
There was a woman in there, too, who was helping do it. A listener. I think a listener came in and was there when you did it.
Tattoos? Well, maybe so. God, I can't remember.
But anyway.
So you get it like that. And then, of course, it immediately bubbled up into the horrible burning, oozing.
I had to leave the studio.
And that was only the first one. You had to do it 4 times. But yes,
you know what?
The M, the
I've never seen Wayne with a bigger grin on his face as he was doing it.
He's sticking my arm with a thing. And then, of course, it got totally infected and blown up in this red oozing thing. And it's still there. You can still.
It's bright as it can be.
Yeah. In fact, we should take a picture and post.
Can you take a picture? The camera. Show it to the camera.
Can I get up close?
No, they can see it from there.
Oh, they can see it from here. Well, you can see. I don't know if you can see it from here.
Show the one we did on your butt.
Here. But anyway, it's a USMC, and now it's bright white scars.
It is
but
white.
It's from being branded, like they do with cattle.
Branded.
Actual.
You know you're a man.
Anyway. You got
Chuck
the
Connors. Branded.
That was a great series.
It was a great show. And it didn't last long.
No, it was a great series. Oh, and by the way, apparently he was a baseball player. Professional and a gay porn star. He was in gay porn movies. They say that. I looked at it was him.
Well, he had, it was tough times.
Whatever. It was back in the day, I guess.
He used to do a little gay porn himself.
Well, no, I was, didn't we all? What's our break time? I forget. I don't have a sheet today.
You got to keep talking.
29, right?
Yeah, 29.
Okay. Anyway, have you heard about the CDC, Centers for Disease Control, on their official website is now helping you, quote, tranny and non-binary individuals learn how to chest feed your baby if you're a man. Or if you're a girl who had your breasts cut off.
Or a freak.
Or a freak. Or a phony. Or an actor. Yes, this is an actual chest feeding your infants on their website of the CDC. Those who have had much of their breasts removed in gender reassignment surgeries, or for biological men taking hormones to grow breasts, on how to feed their newborn children. Some transgender parents who have had breast top surgery may wish to breastfeed or chest feed their infants. So the CDC says working with these families should be familiar with medical, emotional, social aspects of gender transitions. They may need help maximizing milk production, supplementing with pasteurized donor human milk or formula. Now, according to the experts, this advice may apply to biological men who can produce their own breast milk by taking hormone drugs that mimic the changes that happen to a biological woman's body during the late stage of pregnancy. Holy moly.
That can't be good for the baby.
429. It's only the camera, Pete and Flounder. Oh, my. It isn't. We'll come back why it's bad for the baby. Neil Armstrong. He played the space horn, apparently. Anyway, Louis Armstrong, 1971. That's kind of a shame. A quick thing here, and historical note. Let's see if I can find one here for you. World War I, 1917. T.E. Lawrence leads Arab forces to attack and capture the port city of Aqaba from the Turks. Lawrence of Arabia, he was an army officer. He was assigned as an archaeologist. He was also a writer and a photographer. His two brothers were killed in France at the beginning of World War I, and Lawrence felt guilty. So he started working with the forces, and at the time, Turkey sided with Germany. And so the Arabs said, no, we can't side with Turkey. We used to be friends with Turkey, but we can't anymore because they're siding with Germany.
Well, actually, the Ottoman Empire controlled them and they hated them.
Right. Well, so what happened was Lawrence of Arabia led the revolt against the Ottoman Empire and took the port city of Aqaba, of course, a movie, Lawrence of Arabia, and that was basically a true story. But he was just a guy who, he was an archaeologist and poet and writer and photographer and an army officer.
And he later, when he left the army in peacetime between the wars, he re-upped and changed his name so people would know who he was.
I didn't know that.
You know how he died?
No.
Motorcycle accident.
I'll be damned.
He ran off the road.
I'll be damned. Well, it's like Patton, died in a car wreck. Brutal. Okay, one more quick thing. We got a phone call here from Lori. Just 1 second. I was mentioning on this CDC with guidance for men who wanted to breastfeed women, babies, if they've been taking a bunch of hormones. The problem is the side effects. Some people are saying the FDA has not warned anything except that these drugs, domperidone, I think it's called, can pass into breast milk in small amounts and can sometimes give babies an irregular heartbeat. There are some doctors criticizing the CDC for not mentioning the health risks, saying chest feeding from men transitioning from female mimicking hormones can't be a good idea. Nope. We have no idea what the long-term effects are on a child if their trans parents are using all kinds of off-label hormones. Hard to believe that breast milk naturally occurring in a woman is the same as the breast milk induced in a man. Anyway, to the phone. Lori, is Lori still with us? Hi, Lori. Welcome. I appreciate you being on the radio. How you doing?
Hey guys,
how are you, sweetie?
I'm a long time listener. I'm a Kimmer babe. Just want you to know.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a woman.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 61.
All right. Good.
I've had two children.
Yeah.
And it's a natural thing. Men can't produce milk.
Yeah.
It's that easy. There is no other solution. I breastfed my children. When they cried, my milk would come down. It's a natural thing.
Yeah.
The CDC, that's why we don't trust these idiots.
Yes.
They're idiots.
Yeah. And by the way, Lori, you're exactly right for one thing. And tell me if this is true as you're breastfeeding too. My experience had been, I was in the delivery room when both my daughters were born, and I was there for the whole thing. My starter wife had trouble breastfeeding. She did, and they had to kind of to help her and encourage her. It's not sometimes there's a difficulty.
That's right.
And they were very helpful, but still, and they made the point. The two things they made the point that the best time for the breastfeeding, the most important time for the child, is at the very beginning when I think it's called colostrum is the most important.
Painful.
Yeah, and
so
it's
painful.
But it's the most nourishing part of the antibiotics for the child, for the baby.
Right.
Okay. Now the other thing was, and tell me if you haven't experienced this too. I remember you would give instructions to the baby when it was time for the baby to feed. All you'd have to do was take your finger and just lightly touch the side of the baby's face, and he would turn to the breast.
I'm going to tell you, anybody that held my children, they went for their breast. That's the way it was.
Yeah.
They knew they were breastfed kids because they were looking for the nipple.
Yeah. Now,
it never changes.
Now, and Lori, let me ask you this one other thing. Let me ask you another thing too, just because your initial comments were women can breastfeed, men can't. I mean, it sounds like pretty normal to me. How is it possible, Lori, that 90% of the women in America aren't screaming every time they hear about these trannies who want to change genders and cut off a 9-year-old girl's breasts so she would? I mean, why aren't the women of America going nuts?
I'm screaming.
Yeah.
I'm screaming. I hope I meet one of these idiots because I'm probably going to be in trouble.
Well,
And something else I want to.
Yes.
Something else I want to say.
Yes.
Sophia, she's a bot.
Take the pipe.
No,
we love Sophia. We like to have our detractors.
She's funny.
Well. Laura, you are a true Kimmer babe, no question about it.
That's
God bless you,
right.
sweetie.
Hey, Keith,
Yes, ma'am.
I wish I was up there because I would love to have your Blackberry. And Kimber, just put a little bit of cream and butter.
Yeah.
You don't put water. Put a little bit more cream in it.
Yeah, in fact, I did put the melted butter, like they say. I think, Lori, the problem actually, I think I overcooked it by literally 30 seconds. And I'll tell you what happened. When I went to the oven to take it out, it was perfect. And then I turned around and got my camera and got my video on to get ready to get the pictures. And by the time I took it out, I think it overcooked by 30 or 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So,
and that's weird. But, yeah, cream, a little more cream.
Yeah.
Not water, but cream.
Oh, never water.
Yeah. No.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lori. Have a great day. I'm so glad you called. The Kimmer babes are the best.
Any society that throws the children to the side to pander to mentally ill people who think they can lactate when they're men, that society is doomed.
Well,
if we allow it.
This is the CDC.
CDC doing that, yeah.
They have an official website of how men can breastfeed babies.
That had to be okayed by that political hack that's running it.
All of this crap. And again, all of a sudden now they're coming after. I'm seeing stuff on Fox News about all the lies Dr. Fauci told. All this is kind of coming to the fore. And now they're saying, the CDC. Remember all the mistakes they made and all the crap they made and the decisions they made based on nothing?
What was worse is they knew some of this stuff was wrong, and they went ahead and made people do it anyway.
Yeah.
The lies of it.
They were in cahoots. They were in cahoots with the Department of Justice.
The
They were in
Chinese
cahoots
military.
We
We paid for it. We paid for the Chinese to make this thing out of nothing and then spread it around the world.
Yeah.
We paid for that.
In cahoots with the World Health Organization, the WHO, run by the Communist Chinese, and here we are. And now men breastfeeding, an official policy from the CDC, which used to be the most prestigious health organization in the world.
You paid attention to it.
I mean, am I wrong? I mean, that's true. I mean, for years.
Yeah.
Anyway, pretty freaking
Well, that's
bad.
the one in The Walking Dead. That's where they're coming to Atlanta to try and get answers from the CDC. Where's the zombies coming from?
Unbelievable. And by the way, even the Babylon Bee has come out with it, showing once again the confusion of Democrats across the nation, upset and don't know what to think about the thousands of local parades over the weekend for the 4th of July independence celebrations. And there were Democrats are confused by everybody in them in the parades. All kept their clothes on, and nobody was swinging any sex toys around. What the hell is this? Said local Democrat and cat mom Glenda Fitzgerald. Where are the BDSM displays, the transgender furries, and the naked men on bicycles? This is not what parades are for. I don't get it. I'm so annoyed I don't even bother to bring my 5-year-old nephew to this rather strange event. Our sources indicate these strange kink-free parades could be fronts for dangerous fascist groups, said Congresswoman and affirmative action recipient Cori Bush. I watched one on TV and didn't see a single genital. This is white supremacy.
All right, we got a response from Sophia here.
Sophia's listening.
She's been called a bot. Her first response was, ha, ha. And the second one, this is why we love Sophia.
Yeah.
Oh, my secret is out. I have to destroy all of you now.
I want to meet her.
Now you must die. No. Do you
I
expect
want video.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond.
We expect you to die. Oh, my God. 444. Oh, that's not a good sign, 444. Here on the camera. Oh, by the way, coming up, we're going to talk about a DoorDash delivery man. Wait till you hear what he said to a woman who gave him a 25% tip. Also, the bikini wars. Here we go. Paige Spiranak. And by the way, I don't think I would not. If she asked me to make love to her, I would say no.
You're gay.
I'd kiss her on the mouth, but I would not make love to her. I would not get physically intimate with her all the way. And also, Ice-T's getting all upset about people looking at his wife for good reason. It's fairly, shocking. Anyway, it's all coming up. Quite 444 here on 106.3 with the Kimber, Pete, and Flounder. I almost got caught on live mic, all right. How you doing? Look out, it's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davis and Flounder and Sutton's back there, too. 448 on 106.3. Here's a phone number. Area 404-741-1230, 741-1230. Thank you, Lori, for calling. It's always, we love to hear from people. And Sophia has now responded. Pete Davis?
Yeah, sorry. I was reading this. People wanted us to free Frank. I forgot we'd put Frank in timeout.
Oh,
I meant to let him back in. I forgot about it.
Now, I forgot what Frank did. Was he being bad?
Probably.
All right, well, we'll let him back in. Sorry, Frank.
The problem is I don't know how to do it. We'll have to figure it out.
I don't know how to do it. Anyway, and Sophia responded. Did you already say that on the air? Was that off the air? You did?
Yeah, we already did that segment there.
Sorry. Well, we haven't done Skynet.
We did it right after Skynet. Remember?
I remember. I promised it.
One of those teases.
I don't remember anything else about it, though. Thank you so much. Anyway, for a second, we played Jimi Hendrix, and I've talked right over it, and it disappeared. Sorry, Flounder. Flounder goes, he does a lot of work putting into the show, and all the stuff in the background, and I ignore it totally. Anyway, 1968, Woburn Music Festival, Woburn Abbey in Bedfordshire, somewhere in England. Jimi Hendrix, on this day in 68. A 2-day affair featuring Donovan, Fleetwood Mac, Pentangle, don't know what that is, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Alexis Corner Family Bump, whatever thing. Anyway, 2-day tickets cost $3. 2 days. 1968, 2 days of a music festival, $3. Not too shabby. On this day in history, Pete, you'll enjoy this.
Yes, sir.
1933, the first All-Star game in baseball was played.
Chicago.
Babe Ruth hit the game-winning home run for the American League, winning 4-2.
Comiskey Park.
In 1933.
They used to, a long time ago, they would have 2 a year for a long time.
That's right. In fact, we did it not that long ago. I remember reading about it just recently in one of my history notes.
The 60s, I think.
And they stopped doing it because, it was an All-Star game, and then it was a baseball All-Star game, and then there was another. It was special. If somebody was picked out for some reason, but then he said, "Well, it kind of diminishes from the All-Star game, so we shouldn't do it." It was almost like like golf has the Ryder's Cup, as opposed to the U.S. Open and British Open and stuff like that. But anyway, so they don't do it anymore. All right, hold on. We're going to do Skynet here in a second. What a story of a downfall. Remember the name Lynn Wood. Lynn Wood was the Atlanta attorney who took on the case of Richard Jewell, supported Richard Jewell, who was a security guard, initially blamed for the bombing at Olympic Park. And Lynn Wood, the attorney, L. Lynn Wood, took on his case and won. And he was known for other things, too. We'll give him a little brief history thing here. He had turned Richard Jewell's case into an examination of the media's rush to judgment, won settlements from several news outlets. He has a rather combative style. He represented John Benet Ramsey's brother. John Benet Ramsey, the little beauty queen, was murdered near Christmas time in her home, and they lived in Atlanta for the family after she was killed. He represented her brother, who was accused and kind of unofficially of being perhaps responsible. He obtained settlements from CNN and the Washington Post in 2020 for the reporting on the Nicholas Sandmann case. Remember that, the Kentucky teenager, and he had that drunken kicked out the Indian who was trying to upset him, doing woo woo and stuff like that. That Indian was a drunken Indian who was thrown out of the Marine Corps. So that's how that guy is to be described. Anyway, the Native American activist, they call him, the drunken Indian, and he got blasted for the out of context video. And Lynn Wood represented him, got him thousands and millions of dollars. Apparently, he also represented in 2020. Kyle Rittenhouse, he was on their team for a while, accused of killing the 2 Black Matter protesters in Black Lives Matter in Wisconsin. So Lynn Wood has been, right there at the forefront of some very major cases. Well, he's out now. He's quit his job as a lawyer, given up his law practice and his law license, and it was either that or be disbarred, because they were coming after him. He admitted in his letter, my action to resigning is unqualified, irrevocable, and permanent. I understand I'm prohibited from practicing the law in this state or any other. Twitter banned him in 2021. Wood turned Jewell. Well, let's see. He has a style of combativeness that's counterproductive. He filed lawsuits containing unfounded claims of election tampering on behalf of Donald Trump. Claimed that they tried to steal the election from Trump, claimed the election's outcome, claiming Democrats and the Chinese government, voting machine companies, and Republicans worked together to steal it from Donald Trump. And he apparently knew that it wasn't true, and because of that, they were going at it. You're going to lose your license, so he just quit. But what a downfall. Holy cow. And I don't know what, he started talking crazy. And I don't know. It's just
if I remember, I got all this evidence, but we never saw it.
We never saw it. And the woman, too, remember that female lawyer, the chick lawyer said, I've seen the evidence, I got the evidence. Says, well, where is it?
Yeah.
And they never came through with it. On the corrupted voting machines, how they were jimmied and doctored.
Well, there's been stuff that's come out recently about here in Georgia about some machines, so maybe.
Well, I still think there was shenanigans.
I think they stole
I know
it.
they did.
Yeah.
A quick thing, we're going to do Skynet here in about 4 seconds. 12 seconds. This is an amazing story. 2 firemen from New Jersey were killed, found in the hull of a ship that caught on fire in the port in New Jersey. And here's what was remarkable. Not only we lost 2 firemen, who these guys rush into the flames. The ship caught on fire. This ship is as big as a building. It holds 5,000 cars. 5,000 cars. How big is this boat?
They could be Mini Coopers.
Even so, 5,000? I mean, how long is 1,000 cars?
I don't know.
If you had 5 levels of 1,000 cars, 1,000 cars, what, 10 feet, 8, 9 feet, 10 feet, 1,000 times 10 is 10,000 feet, which is how many football fields long has that got to be, and how many football fields high?
They got me. You said no math today.
Oh my! And by the way, we know, maybe a lot of people don't know, how many ships carrying thousands of cars sink in the Atlantic and the Pacific every year, and those cars are lost forever. They're down the bottom of the sea.
Sad. The one that made me cry was a few years ago, that ship in the Atlantic that lost all the Porsches.
All of them.
God.
Oh,
Can you
mercy.
imagine ordering it and waiting 3 months, and they build it, and the damn ship sinks?
Ferraris, Lamborghini, I mean, all those expensive cars
They ship them over.
They have to get here on boat.
Mine was sent over from, I guess, Bremen or somewhere, Hamburg, and back down to Jacksonville. That's how it came in.
Unbelievable. And they're bottom of the sea now by the hundreds of thousands. Okay, 4:55. Oh, hey, hi.
Oh, my God.
We did it, ladies and gentlemen. What we promised was it's Skynet with Pete Davis.
First time in a week. Well, you know those little machines you have at home? Everybody's got one, the Wi-Fi, the router.
Yeah.
Flounder, you have a router, right?
Little black box for my computer.
Yeah, you know how it works?
No, I don't.
All right, so basically it sends out radio waves that connect with whatever you have, your TV
computer device
or whatever, computer, whatever.
Right.
So you have Wi-Fi. You don't have to have wires everywhere.
And it has a little doodad up on top of my phone that is working.
Lights and stuff. That's working right now.
Yeah.
Well, it works that way by shooting out radio waves.
Okay.
So what they did a little experiment here,
Yeah.
is the things don't have cameras on them. So they put a camera on it, basically attached it
On
to
the
a
box.
Wi-Fi router,
Yeah.
and it showed a room of people like we're sitting in here. There's where Flounder sits, there's
Yeah.
Sutton,
Yeah.
there's you, there's me, and where we are. Then it let it sit there and look through a camera for a while, using AI on it.
The router AI camera, okay?
Put AI in the router, okay?
With a camera, all right?
Then took the camera away.
Oh, uh-oh.
And it still knew where you were in the room because it was shooting out the radio waves at that point. It had learned it could use the radio waves as like a camera, as sight, like a bat sonar or something.
So a certain shape would represent you, and it would remember.
It would go through walls to do it. And it would see where you were. Not remember, it sees where you are now. So your Wi-Fi router, if they can somehow get AI into it, can be used to watch you in your house. Which, remember the movie Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where they could see through the houses?
Yeah.
And people are saying the 5G thing, they can use that to do it.
Well, I think they have weapons that see go through to see heat waves of bodies through buildings and stuff already. We know that.
It's called X-ray, I think.
Well, no, but there's actually heat-seeking. I mean, there's new weapons.
Fluoroscope.
But yeah, oh my God. Well, oh my God.
But next time you're looking at your router, remember it's watching you.
Yeah. I don't like
privacy.
any of this. I
No
don't
privacy.
like any of this. None. By the way, coming up after the top of the hour, we also still have Pete's tweets. We have Holy Crap at Sports. We got a couple of comedy bits, and we're going to talk more about the Hunter Biden thing and smoking crack on the balcony with his mother, apparently, and also how bookies are taking odds of who brought the cocaine into the White House as well.
Bookies.
You
said boogies.
I said boogies?
You said boogies.
Well, that's not right.
That's right. Oh, by the way, okay.
Yeah.
The worst joke in the world. I found the worst joke in the world.
I've been accused of giving the worst joke in the world many times. Let's see if you can top my bad jokes. All right.
An ancient Greek walks into his tailor shop with a pair of torn pants.
Yeah.
Euripides, says the tailor.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Eumenides, replies the man.
Oh, God. See, those are famous Greek authors and philosophers and
Euripides, Eumenides. Somebody posted that on Facebook and says this is so bad, I have to spread it.
Well, I don't blame you a bit. Also coming up, if you haven't seen in social media now, three things: a DoorDash camera caught a guy making a delivery of a pizza to a woman's house. She gave him a $5 tip, and he turned around and gave her the F-bomb, among other things, and he's lost his job. That's coming up here in a second. Yeah, thank God. Also, Paige Spiranak, that golf influencer show-off with a body and stuff, she did a 4th of July flag bikini thing.
Thank you.
And so did Ice-T's wife, Coco, and it was so racy. They're both getting all kinds of feedback, and they're reacting to it, and you're going to hear what that is. We'll give you the full scoop here, coming back right off the top of the hour. Also, Pete with an OCD and the man who founded
Maybe we should do
radio
that
waves.
tomorrow,
We could, maybe if we don't get to it, we'll see if it's tomorrow.
It's all right, Pete. We've been teasing a lot of stuff that we do the next day. So.
And I don't know. We got a million things. Dear Ann, we got a bunch of stuff coming up. 5 o'clock already. Holy moly. Let's get it together, ladies. Left shoulder, right of blank. Ready on your dog. Targets. Road guards out. 503. Look out, it's only me. It's only the Kimmer. 106.3 with Pete Davis and Philander and Sutton's back there. We got a phone call to get you on here in just a second. Coming up, we'll talk about the bookies now, betting on who brought the cocaine into Hunter's area. I mean, the White House, of course. And the DoorDash guy and women going nuts. We got a billion things here coming up. Our Holy Crap at Sports. We got Pete's tweets. We got a couple of comedy bits and lots of stuff right up till 6 o'clock, including a couple of bikini comments of some very famous chicks on social media, and a billion of other things too. Now, I'm going to see. Before we forget, let's get to our phones. I believe this is Porter on 106.3. Porter, how's it going? Welcome aboard. I appreciate it. What's up?
Well, enjoying a little bit of cooler weather today. It's Semper Fi.
Yes, sir. Hoorah.
So, I thought I heard one day you guys said that you were ordained ministers.
That's correct.
Just joking.
That's correct. And the reason was because of Jesse Jackson. In fact, I have a historical note about him, and I'll explain more about that later. Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Well, that's all right. Well, anyway, if you were like actual...
Yeah, well, I am. I got my ID. I'll show you my card.
I get it.
Yeah.
Married people.
Yeah, I married. I performed 3 weddings.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But let's just pretend that meant that you were a Bible student somewhat.
All right.
Because you mentioned something about angels showing up.
Yeah.
They come around and start the first fire, which...
Let's show you history. Show you the dinosaurs. Show you the Big Bang. Show you how you formed rocks and how the first fire and the guy. They first their cooked meal and I don't know, whatever. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I think it's more like we had a creator because we didn't arrive and develop from pond scum originally. That's my opinion. I think that we're way too complicated of a bio machine to just come about by accident. So,
I agree. There's too many things you can't possibly understand, and I think the only reason we can't understand it is because we're not supposed to. If we
I can understand it's too complicated for it to just come about by accident. I majored in some statistics and probability. That didn't happen. It's too complicated.
Yeah, and again, if you believe in a creator, I think the creator gives you a gift when you die of your little angel taking you on a freaking tour.
Is that what
here's
believe?
How it happens. That's what I believe. And
okay.
Yeah. Right.
I could be wrong. It's possible.
Here, sniff this.
Thank you, Porter.
Clear you right up.
Thank you. Oh, mercy. Here's a phone number. It's 506. Here's a phone number. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. And, of course, we're on Rumble and YouTube if you want to communicate with us again this home, which would be nice. Resending a couple of the major story again, and I don't know what I think the mainstream media is beginning to pay more attention. The Hunter Biden story in the business with a cocaine White House. There are now betting organizations, Sportsbook Bet Online is giving the odds to Hunter Biden as plus 170 as the owner of the cocaine, the most likely wrongdoer. And then they say Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce follows with plus 800 odds. Why would they mention him?
Well, he was there at the White House recently. So.
Also, one of the Jonas brothers was there. Angelina Jolie was there. They got her odds at 1,400 plus. First Lady Dr. Jill is the bottom of the pack with plus 15,000 odds that she was the one who brought it in there.
Well, she's a doctor. She may have a hookup.
She could have a hook. She may have thought it was some kind of an aspirin compound.
I always knew in my drug years that the best place to get drugs was a community college.
Well, there you are. And she, of course, Brovada is a Costa Rican-based sports book, and they say the odds are 400 as a tour group guest, and Hunter has plus 200 odds that it was his cocaine. Anyway, the cocaine. And by the way, first of all, they said it was found. Let me see. First of all, they said it was found in the library. That was a crock. Then it was actually, they say, found in the West Wing work area. And then they said, well, no, it was discovered in the cubbyhole of a storage facility where the guests store their phones, or White House staff put their phones. And now, so now we're wondering, Senator Tom Cotton wants answers from the Secret Service is demanding in a written letter officially how the cocaine got into the White House.
It's like the clue. It's like the clue.
It's
a crackhead's son with the cocaine in the library.
It was the butler in the it was the cook. The cook did
the cook room.
But I mean, how in the world did it get to the White House? I can't believe that you don't have to empty your pockets when you go into the White House. I mean, totally. And it's not, if you go through and there's a beep, they make you empty your pockets. It's empty your pockets, period.
Isn't there a little air thing that sniffs the air around you to see if there's drugs?
Hell, to get in the airport, you need one. You'd think you need one for the White House.
I know. They need that beagle.
I mean, so it must have been somebody who doesn't get searched all the time.
That's right.
Like, Hunter or the Dr. Jill and stuff. And I still think they're having an affair to make up for the time he called her the C-bomb, and he's making up to her by having sex with her. I'm almost positive. So I don't know how the hell the cocaine got in the first place, how it made it past any security screening.
Well, the thing with cocaine, it's a pretty small, it's something you can hide you can put it in your wallet.
Yeah, I mean, they say it was a dime-sized bag. I mean, whatever. So I understand where you could put it in your shoe, but still, it just seems to me that, somebody brought cocaine into the White House. And so obviously they could have brought in anthrax.
So that's what concerns me. The cocaine doesn't concern me.
Yeah, they could have brought in what's the other one?
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl or the other one? It's the drug that you could. It kills everybody. Cyan, not cyanide, but
Cyanide.
the other one. It could have been any one of those drugs where you drop it and put it in the water supply and stuff. Anyway.
LSD?
What's the one we were talking about for years on the drug that they were afraid? Not cyanide.
Acetaminophen?
The powder drug. The powder drug they use for.
Goodies headache powder.
No, yeah, that's the one. That's what I was thinking of.
MDMA?
No, oh God.
BC?
No, what was it? It was anthrax, and then what was the other drug? Not cyanide, but start.
What are you talking about?
No, the guy Breaking Bad made it. Ricin.
Ricin. Oh, very good, Ricin. Yes, that's
see
phone call. Oh my God, I had a phone call.
The Kimmer had a memory thing there. I actually remembered the word ricin.
See if this one has a point.
Yeah, you bastards can all go to hell. I remember.
He remembered something. Yeah, give him a hand. All right, thank you. He remembered something.
All right, who's on the phone?
Joe.
Joe's on the phone. Hey, Joe, what do you want now?
I know I keep bugging you out, and I ain't going to apologize about it.
No, don't never apologize.
Right. So I'm just saying, in that, nobody's talked about fingerprints, what kind of container it was in.
Yeah, DNA maybe.
Baggie.
Yeah.
Can't they pull fingerprints off that little baggie and figure out whose it was?
Yeah. We're never going to know unless by chance it was some, guest who was a MAGA supporter, like a Donald Trump supporter, that they try to claim I guarantee you, if it's a liberal or a member of the family or the staff, and by the way, Joe, let me ask you this: he's still on?
Yeah.
Do you think, therefore, that there should be drug testing of the staff in the White House that was in that area on that weekend?
Hell yeah.
Well, there you are.
I totally get that.
And I guarantee you, if it had been Donald Trump president and Don Jr. had been roaming around and they found cocaine in the White House, you don't think there would be calls for drug testing of everybody who works there?
We'd have known immediately whose it was, and they'd already probably be in front of a magistrate.
Yeah. And frankly, I wonder whether there's a single... I haven't heard a single Democrat... or a single Democrat leader, demand an explanation for how this horrible thing could have happened in their White House.
I'm telling you, man.
I mean,
it's a disgrace.
I don't think they give a damn. I don't think any leader. Well, we know they don't give a damn about drugs. They don't give a crap about. It's only cocaine. What do they care? I think they have to pretend to care about fentanyl, but they don't give a crap about cocaine.
They don't give a crap about fentanyl. They've opened up the border and let it just run over.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but they have to pretend to be concerned about fentanyl. We're going to stop the fentanyl, but it's their fault. It's here in the first place. Yeah. But I guarantee they do not give a damn about cocaine. Not one of those Democrats has even. Who does that anymore? It's no big deal. Forget it. Why concentrate on that?
Can you imagine if Donald Trump Jr. had not only done this, but had fathered a child out of wedlock with a stripper in Arkansas? Both the stripper and the little girl would have been on 20/20 by now.
And by the way, how come a reporter yelled the question to President White Trash, Mr. President, how did cocaine get in the White House? And he just laughed at the answer. How come they're not yelling to the President White Trash, how come you don't recognize your granddaughter? She has just as much genealogy biology and her DNA as any other grandchild.
It's Dr.
It was
Jill.
a Biden and a non-Biden got together and had a baby. Well, Biden and a non-Biden got together and had a baby.
She's more Biden than Dr. Jill is.
That's right. Admit it, you scumbag. I mean, what a white trash. 513. Peach next. Holy crap, it's sports. with a hooker. 23. And now, holy crap at sports with P. Davis.
This day in history, where were you? 1986, Bob Horner became the 11th player in Major League history to hit 4 home runs in one game.
Yeah.
And this is how bad the Braves were. Yeah. They still lost.
Well, they also probably had 900 people in the stands.
They lost to the Expos 11-8.
Montreal Expos.
And I watched, I'm telling you, since 1969, I have watched, read about, listened to, or attended or covered every Braves game since literally the playoff series of 1969.
I believe that's true.
I've maybe missed 3 games. And one day we're out driving around Stone Mountain getting drunk and came back to my friend's apartment and he had just hit the last home run.
Oh, man.
I missed that
And that
game.
was probably before all the replays of the stuff, too.
Oh, yeah. It was like George Michael's sports machine.
Oh, man. Let's go to the videotape.
The videotape. ESPN had Sports Center, so you can catch it on
that's true.
Braves have a much-deserved day off before playing in Tampa Bay. 3 games over the weekend before the All-Star break. The Braves and Rays, the top 2 records in baseball.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting how much coverage we'll get it on national TV this weekend with those 2 teams.
I think they're going to be forced to do it.
I don't know. There's no Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies, Dodgers, or Cubs involved. I don't know.
We'll see.
Anyway, don't read too much into a series in July, but it could be fun watching this one. Last night, Michael Soroka struggled, but came up with the pitches he needed to get out of jams as the Braves pounded the Guardians in Cleveland 8-1 or 8-2, I forget.
I don't remember.
To win the rubber game of the series. They have now won 10 series in a row, and they gave manager Brian Snitker his 600th victory.
Wow.
Which is amazing. Sean Murphy and Austin Riley went deep. Here's the call of Sean's blast.
2-2, launched down the left field line, into the corner, up the wall, and out of the ballpark. Sean Murphy, forget the sinker, forget the ground ball. He just vaporized one over the left field wall. And it's 5-0 Atlanta on the home run by Sean Murphy here in the 3rd inning. His 15th of the year.
Ben Ingram with the call there on Sister Station 680 of the Fan, by golly. David O'Brien, the AJC, or is he with the Athletic now?
I used to work with him in 1987.
No, you didn't. You're
Yes,
thinking
I
of
did.
another David O'Brien.
Oh, the sports guy.
Yeah, but this is the baseball sports writer, not the radio guy.
O'Brien was a baseball sports
Totally
guy
different
back
man.
then. Oh, well, thank you so much.
So I've nipped that little skimmer story in the bud there.
I was trying to make it about me, damn it.
You tried.
Why can't we make it about me once in a while?
But I headed you off at the pass.
Yes, you did.
And their past 29...
You bastard.
I'm sure there'll be another anecdote coming up in the next 30 seconds.
I guarantee it.
In their past 29 games, the Braves are 25-4. They've slashed 309, 371, 577. They have an OPS of 948. They hit 72 homers, 195 RBIs, and they have won games an average of 7 runs scored per game. That is absurd, and he is right by saying that. They have a 3.56 earned run average in that 29-game stretch. They have out-homered the other team 72-39 and have outscored them 203 to 113.
And the first inning scoring is outrageous.
Every night.
And they're on record. They're on pace to set even more records. Sorry,
your phone's up.
That's a phone. I don't know who this is, so I'm not.
So if you
answering.
can't make it about you, your phone can make it about you. It reminds me of the 70s when the Dodgers came in with that lineup with Say and Lopes and Russell and Garvey and Ferguson and Yeager. And every game they'd score 3 or 4 before you even knew what was going on.
Yeah.
This is what it reminds me of.
And I remember the time when.
Oh my God.
When Davey. Well, I told you threatened me that I would time him 30, and I said 30 seconds. Davey Lopes was standing outside of Chicago's Wrigley Field one afternoon after a ball game that I had been covering because I went to every baseball game at Wrigley Field for that whole summer of '84, I believe it was. And after the game, I packed up did my reporting stuff and on my thing, and I was ready to go, and I was driving back home, and Davey Lopes was standing on the corner all by himself, just waiting there, like he was waiting for something. And so I pulled up to him and I rolled down the window and I said, "Hey, I said, you need a ride or lift somewhere?" And he said, yeah, I was waiting to go. I said, oh, hop in, I'll give you a ride. And I gave him a ride where he had to go, and he was
so
a
he
very
just
nice man.
jumped. First of all, you're propositioning men on the streets of Chicago, and he just hopped in with any guy.
He
Tom,
saw
Dick,
me.
and Harry.
I was on TV at the time, and he knew me. And
it sounds like. Well, so what happened later? A little, a little dinner, a little soft light, candlelight.
I didn't even mention we were playing Louis Armstrong and how Al Hurt came up to me many times and told me how much of a big fan he was of my TV anchoring.
While you're driving Davy Lopes around, you two are listening to Louis Armstrong?
No, but we played his song a while ago, and I
sounds very
neglected to bring it to the Kimmer time.
We'll try not to think about this later. National skipper Dave Martinez stopped their game against the Redlegs to have the umpires check the Reds rookie Ellie De La Cruz's bat.
Aha.
The umps made Ellie take the little plastic sensor thing off the end of the bat. He'd use that same bat later to blast a 455-foot home run, and then he turned and he showed the umpire, it's still on here.
What little? They have a thing on the bat now?
It basically, you can put it on, and kids can buy this, and it shows you how fast you're swinging and stuff, and how hard you hit the ball and stuff.
Well, so what was their complaint? That would somehow affecting the bat?
They're trying to mess with him, is what they're doing. He's trying to mess with this guy.
But I don't even know the theory. They're saying that little peg on the bottom of the bat had.
I don't.
What a bunch of. My God.
How weak are today's generation of athletes, Kimmer?
Pretty weak.
Gabriel Jesus said he decided to leave Manchester City soccer team when the coach, Pep Guardiola, made him cry after leaving him out of a starting lineup.
Oh, my God.
Made him cry. I'm almost ashamed to say he now plays for Arsenal.
My football coach, football, basketball, and baseball coach, Don Terwilliger, the former Marine twice, used to hit me in the face to show people, how to give a forearm and to shiv the forearm in the guy's face and neck to get him off the ball. I mean, Peters, I was a captain, and he said, I'll show you, bam, 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 like that with his forearm in my face.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Come on, what do you matter, you guys?
You wonder why that girl wouldn't stay with you at homecoming.
And then he'd say, are you okay? Yeah, good, coach.
Not good.
Yeah, yes, sir. It was all prep school. It was all yes, sir, coach. Yes, sir, coach.
Mike Trout's annual injury is a broken wrist. He had surgery. He will miss 8 weeks.
Oh, no.
Oh, every year. Every year.
By the way, how is Mike Trout not playing on every winning team and winning World Series?
Because the Angels suck.
I know. I mean, but what a horrible situation for the guy. For all those years, one of the best players in baseball.
I'll tell you exactly why.
And he's got nothing to show for it.
I'll tell you exactly why. They gave like $500 million to Anthony Rendon to play 30 games a year.
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama, the big tall guy, drafted number 1.
The new French guy?
Yeah.
7'5".
He's still growing. Been in the NBA for 2 weeks. And he's already slapped the shinola out of Britney Spears. His security detail did it. And there's film. TMZ has it. Britney just wanted a pic with Victor, came up and tapped him on the back of the shoulder, and the guy just smacked her onto the floor and knocked her glasses off.
Britney knocked Britney Spears on her ass because she touched him on the shoulder?
Yeah.
Now, was this like a French guy doesn't know who Britney Spears is? I mean,
no, it's a security detail because people were coming up to him, and the security guy turns, and she touched him, and he didn't know who she was, so he just knocked her flat.
Oh, my God.
And she filed a police report, but she says she's accepted the apology, and the police aren't going to do anything because he wasn't trying to hurt her. He was trying to protect Victor.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he hit a woman in the face as hard as he could.
No, that's not good.
He backhanded her, basically.
Yeah, well, oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And now, have you seen him play or practice? Is he as good as they say?
I have not seen one bit of this. One bit of it.
I've seen some of the video of his past exploits. Yeah. And the thing that's amazing about this kid, he's skinny as a rail. He's going to get killed out there.
He's got to gain some weight.
But he's 7'5", and yet he moves like a guard, and he can shoot like a shooting guard.
He
sinks him from everywhere.
1 foot, 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's so tall, he doesn't have to jump. I mean, he could just raise his hands up, and he's 11 feet in the air.
Let's predict right now. He's either they'll just bust him right out of the league.
They're going to double team him and hurt him, and they're going to hit him in the ribs every time he comes down the floor.
He'll revolutionize the game.
Or he'll be so different that's they're going to look for skinny guys who can throw from 30 feet.
From France.
Yeah. From France. Anyway, it's a 5:28 already.
We got 2 phone calls.
Let's go over to the phones. So first of all, we have who?
Steve.
Hey, Steve, how's it going? Welcome, sir. What's up?
Away, Kimmer.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for serving in the men's department of the United States Navy.
My honor, sir.
I have been trying to get my service record and medical records for a couple of years to no avail.
Yeah, I know what you're going through, my friend.
But the funny story is I've had 5 knee dislocations, and one of them happened in boot camp in 1970.
Huh.
I just recently had that replaced, but I've got severe tendonitis. So I said, the VA ought to up my 10% disability, right?
I would think so. It's been 50 years.
Guess what? After 53 years, I can't remember which fracking knee I've torn. So I need my medical record.
There you go. Yeah, I know. Sing me a song. I'm telling you, I'm ready to pull my freaking rest of my hair out, and someone's going to suffer. I can tell you that right now.
You still have your reflexes?
What's that?
You go get them.
All right, Steve. Thanks, man. We had another call.
We had time.
Hold on. Who is it? We'll tell him to hold. Do we know? Hey, whoever's there. Hold on.
I cannot pronounce this.
Well, no, everything's going to be fine. It's Swatoon is back. Outstanding. We haven't heard from him in a couple of weeks. Coming up with a Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder and Sutton's back there. Comedy Bits also coming up, too, and Pete's tweets. Yeah. Which we got, Stove, and fun. We got it. Here you go. Stand by. Look at 5:30. Today, Robin, the boy wonder, and he wrote a book, which I remember reading years ago, about how Batman, the actor
Adam West,
how Burt Ward once walked into his trailer on the set or something, and he's having sex with like 3 sets of twins or something.
And Burt just got the fall off.
And he would just, yeah, that's right, honey. He'll be back late. Just come over, and he would.
He said he walked by the set one day, and he's in full Batman gear.
Yeah, getting a special reward for that heavenly wonderfulness.
Let's just say someone was riding the bat pole.
Yeah.
Thank you, citizen.
Mercy. Burt Ward, 78. I mean, it was unbelievable.
What a great show. I would run home from school.
Pow, boom, zoom.
In Falls Church, Virginia, to watch that and Green Hornet back to back. Man, you had to watch those shows.
I love it. On this day in history, 1924, a famous meteor shower pummels the town of Johnstown, Colorado. The largest chunk that didn't scatter when it hit the ground, a meteor shower, 14 pounds. That's a big meteorite. Well, it's a meteor in the sky. It's a meteorite when you pick it up on the ground.
Thank you, Professor.
It's a true story. And in 1944, 20 years later, same day, horrible tragedy in Hartford, Connecticut. The Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus came to town. Fire broke out in the big tent, killing or injuring 800 people. Wow. Zing, zang, zoom. Anyway.
Sophia's weighed in.
Sophia.
I'm shocked Ken was repeatedly hit in the head. Bravo, Coach. And Robbie woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
Uh-oh.
Who interrupts the show to call and say, I can't find my VA records, and then complain about tinnitus?
Our listeners do. Mind your own beeswax.
Speaking of which, we got 2 phone calls.
Well, let's take them now, shall we? Now we got Pete's tweets coming up and more comedy bits and other stuff, too. Yeah.
Swatoon is first.
Swatoon, welcome, sir. Haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks. What's up?
The other one.
Hold on.
There we go.
There we go. Swatoon.
Hey, man. Some of us have to work to pay for people on welfare. Anyway, I'm calling about your national anthem. Please do not play that again. If I heard that when I was coming to America, I would never come to America.
Can you believe that? And, it's a mess. Well, now, so you're a great example. We've talked about this before. You are a person who wanted to come to America because tell the people what you avoided, why you came here.
Let's see, slavery. Discrimination, hunger. In my country back then, you couldn't cast the president. If you do, black men would show up in front of your house, and 3 months later, you'll be back and you'll be screaming, "I love president."
Yeah, and tell them where you came from. Do you mind?
Bosnia, old Yugoslavia.
Bosnia, Herzegovina. Well, again, for you, we will not play that song again. Thank you. And again, that was her name, Jill. Was her Jill Scott? I think it was.
Yeah. All right, we got another call here.
All right, sir. Well, let's go one more. Here we go. Who's this?
Davis.
Davis, welcome aboard. You're on the radio, man. What's up?
Hey, Kimmer. Good to hear you.
Thank you.
Used to listen to you back in the 100 years ago.
There you go. Seems like it.
All of us on the police department did that. But I just wish that the station you're on now had more than 10 watts of power.
Well, that's why we have I know it sucks.
Yeah.
Believe me, they're trying to find a way to we're gaining more power, gaining more links, more stations, more whatever, anything we could do. And by the way, he mentioned he was a police officer. We used to have a lot of cops listen all the time.
Yeah, still do.
And we still do. And again, is he still there?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Listen, outstanding. How long have you been a police officer?
No, I retired. I did 25 years.
Oh, even better. And in fact, I was going to ask you, these days, I mean, I haven't changed my opinion about police. I'm a baby boomer grown up to know if you ever needed ever were in trouble, look for a cop. Look for anybody in uniform, but particularly look for a cop. And the police, these days, I don't know how anyone would be excited about joining a police department, knowing what's going on now. Is it Davis? Do you have an opinion about this? Would you advise people to go into law enforcement these days? Would you tell them to wait a couple of years, see what's going on, or do you have an opinion about this?
You got too many idiots out there saying, let's defund the police. I said, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters?
A health and human resources expert or something.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, why nobody? I mean, the country didn't automatically say no. Don't be an idiot. I mean, they let them get away with it, and now we're seeing the results. And people feel free to commit all these crimes, and then they turn. Well, hell, here's Davis. Just an example we just saw on the news. A guy in Colorado working at a store where two guys came in and stole about 50 containers of laundry detergent. I mean, they had baskets and baskets. They took them out into the car. We're stealing them, putting them into their car trunk. The clerk went out to take their picture and said, "Hey guys, what are you doing? What are you doing?" He took video of the guys stealing the stuff, and the company fired the clerk because they were afraid of starting something. Right? I mean, it's just unbelievable. The crime is just outrageous, and nobody's even thinking about. And how in the world law enforcement's supposed to figure out this kind of stuff is a mystery to me. Do you get any of this at all? Do you understand any of this?
No, it's stupid.
It doesn't make any sense. But again, why isn't the whole country just saying, no, you idiot, this is nonsense? I don't know. And I'm glad you retired and made it safe through, my friend. Thank you. God bless you for serving your country between us and
I retired from that job. I'm still working.
Oh, well, even better.
I went back to law school because I couldn't afford my 3 daughters on the salary.
And are you
a real estate attorney?
Oh, no kidding! Outstanding. What's your name of your company? We'll give you a free plug.
It's just me.
Oh,
I don't need a plug.
Davis, the Me Company, real guy. Well, there you are. All right. Well, listen, 7 for 5, my friend, and God bless. Thank you. Thank you. God bless, man.
On the radio again.
Thanks.
Okay, take care.
Thanks, man. Okay.
Elon Musk has weighed in.
What now?
He tweeted, "Competition is fine. Cheating is not." He's suing, Meta.
On Meta. And again, tell the people who just joined us something. This just happened. Meta got caught.
Supposedly, Elon says they cheated. Basically, they fired Twitter employees or the disgruntled liberals.
Yeah, the ones who left Twitter.
And hired them. That's why they've been able to get their little thread thing up so quickly.
Yeah.
But supposedly, according to Elon, they took proprietary, that's how you pronounce it, but
proprietary
information on their phones and in documents.
Yeah.
And if he can prove that, he can shut that sucker down.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's got to be a civil penalty.
This isn't South Korea.
No.
And I say that because there is a phone company out of there, I won't say their name, that is rather notorious, allegedly, for taking things that Apple invents.
They do it forever, and they pay the fine. They pay $250 million fine, but they made $1 billion. Or more, so they don't give
billions,
a damn.
Billions, but they don't give a damn.
So you can say who it is. I mean, we all know it.
But last time I checked, isn't Meta still an America company? Yeah. So you can't do that here.
No, you're not allowed to do that. It's like there was an anniversary yesterday in the news I didn't mention. 3 guys got arrested from Coca-Cola, including a woman trying to sell the formula to Pepsi. And Pepsi called the FBI and said they're trying to sell us the formula to Coke, and they got them. But again, this is espionage of business. You can't do that.
You don't mess with Pepsi. You know why?
Why?
I was going to say this in Pete's tweets. A guy sued Mountain Dew.
Well, hold on. Let's do a Pete's tweets. Time for Pete's tweets.
I got to find it here.
All right. Well, will you stall for a second? And I'll do a little history note. I was on this day in 1957. I mentioned yesterday that Arthur Ashe won the first black man to first win at Wimbledon. On this day in 1957, Althea Gibson was the first black female tennis player to win a Wimbledon singles title. If there were no Althea Gibson, there would be no Venus and Serena Williams. Is what the guy here says. Anyway, and now, that's what they're Pete's tweets.
Okay, a few years ago, some guy, did you see the movie Strange Brew?
No.
2 guys from SCTV, the Canadian guys.
I like those guys.
The beer.
Oh, yeah.
They tried to sue or get free beer. Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas, I think the other guy. And they tried to sue a beer company in Canada. It was a comedy. Max von Sydow was in there, too. They claimed there was a mouse in their beer can.
Yeah.
So a few years ago, some idiots got a Mountain Dew can and said, there's a mouse in our Mountain Dew can.
Yeah.
And Pepsi owns Mountain Dew. So they took him to court. And Pepsi said, fine, we'll meet you in court. And they brought in their scientists, their Pepsi scientists and Pepsi lawyers, and they pointed out, when'd you buy that can? It was about 76 days ago they bought the can of Mountain Dew. And you found a mouse in there, did you? A whole mouse? Oh, yeah, that's what we found in there. Well, the scientists testified, and they won the case because Mountain Dew will dissolve a mouse in 30 days.
I was going to say, I'll bet it would with the acid content in Mountain Dew.
Think about that. If it does that, you don't know that, so you're slurping away.
You drank a mouse.
You drank a mouse. I mean, how did they know that? How did they know a Mountain Dew could dissolve a mouse in 30 days? They had to find out.
They had to check it.
They did that.
They put a dead mouse. They put a mouse in. Oh my God!
Imagine what that's doing to your insides.
That's the kind of thing they got from Thomas Edison. I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure he did that. Of
course, they would have done it while he was still alive, and Thomas Edison would have done it while see if it was wiggling.
Sign seen at Chick-fil-A drive-thru yesterday.
No.
Please pay with exact change or credit or debit card. Now, why would they ask that?
Exact change or debit? Well, they don't have any change in the cash register, or don't want to do cash things.
They claimed there's a national coin shortage.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't agree with that. I think this is a whole thing to get us to quit using cash.
That's right. Because, no more money. And the government's going to control what you can take in and out of your bank account digitally.
Guess what that means? A whole new underground economy.
There we go. 5:46. Time for the 5:45 break here with the Kevin, Pete, and Flounder. Coming up. Hold on. Four. I thought they already got him anyway. Is this Elvis?
No, this is you got your Beatles in front of you, right?
I've got
Gene Vincent or Eddie Cochran?
John Lennon and Paul McCartney, 20 Fight Rock, Eddie Cochran?
Eddie Cochran.
I'll be damned.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney played this for John Lennon to try and impress him the first time they started
here's the
playing
story.
together.
On this day, 1957, John Lennon and Paul McCartney met for the first time at the Woolton Church Parish Fete party, where the Quarrymen were appearing, 1957. Lennon and McCartney met first time. As the Quarrymen were setting up for their evening performance, Paul McCartney was eager to impress John Lennon, so he picked up a guitar and played 20 Flight Rock. Is that what that's called? 20 Flight Rock, I think it is, by Eddie Cochran.
20 Flight Rock.
And Bebop-A-Lula by Gene Vincent.
Yeah.
Lennon was impressed, and even more so when Paul McCartney showed Lennon and Eric Griffiths how to tune their guitars, something they had to pay someone else to do for them.
Yeah.
And that really was the beginning of the Beatles. I mean, when they first met, Lennon McCarthy, and then from there, on to go.
If Eddie Cochran hadn't died in a car crash over in England, he would have been monster.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, he's the Elvis. He
Him and
like
Gene
he had
Vincent, had tragic endings.
Yeah. Anyway, weird. Now, okay. By the way, now we got some feedback things here on YouTube. We're going to do very quickly. Let's do that first, and then I'm going to bring you up to date on the bikini people, and we got a comedy bit. And also you're going to hear the nut girl on the plane who saw a non-human person coming up. But first, Pete, some feedback from our friends on Rumble.
Well, that was the right music to play because we have a first and it's really bizarre.
All right.
Sophia loves something.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't believe that. I think you've been hacked.
Sophia says she loved the movie Strange Brew and the Christmas song the boys did. Remember this Christmas song they did?
I don't know that. I didn't see the movie.
It was really fun. This Christmas, we'll play the song. It's clean, and it's really funny. Doug, what was their names? Doug and something.
Oh, Mackenzie.
The Mackenzie brothers. Doug and Bob Mackenzie or whatever they did. Yeah. Very funny stuff. Also, Robbie says, yikes, my grandpa died from bladder cancer. He drank the blank out of Mountain Dew, but he also swallowed his Red Man tobacco.
Well, between that and the dead mouse, that's not that good.
And that Blackberry Cobbler.
No. I'm going to find out in about half an hour.
It's going to be driving.
The shooting pains going up 400. And wasn't there one more? I thought we had one more thing.
Oh, Mark says his wife's mother survived that circus fire her uncle saw and saved her.
In Hartford. Her uncle saved her?
Yeah, saw what was happening.
Wow, outstanding. 800 people either killed or wounded from the Barnum
And when
Bailey
those things
circus
comes
fire.
down...
you can't get out.
No, you're smothered.
It was a big top and just collapsed on him. Okay, a couple quick things. We'll do our little comedy bit here. Golf influencer Paige Spiranak. You've seen her maybe before. She's on social media everywhere. She has 3.7 million followers on Instagram, 1.5 million on TikTok, 1 million on Twitter, and she came out with an American flag bikini and whipped out hot dogs and beer and said, boy, you're enjoying a hot dog and beer with me for this Independence Day. And she said she was showing video of Joey Chestnut eating his hot dogs and played Tom Petty's American Girl in the background. Most comments went, boy, really hot, sexy, but some said, one said, hey, put some clothes on. Another, hard pass. Another one said, you seem like a loud chewer, sorry. She said, well, eating a hot dog and a bikini is the list of things people are mad about, LOL. And then Ice-T's wife, Coco Austin, posted a picture of her in a bikini with a G-string bottom and a tiny red top showing pretty much everything. It said, Happy 4th of July with American flags on it. And social media people came in. It's pretty gross, actually. And one guy said, she's a mom. You want your daughter to dress like that? Think about it. Another said, just blows my mind you're okay with your child seeing this in person, no less. And so Ice-T said, you got a problem with Coco? You watch why do you still follow me, you weird blank? And someone asked how she'd feel if her daughter saw pictures like Ice-T said, oh, go do some sit-ups, bitch. So there. Anyway, and the DoorDash camera guy in Texas went up to this lady's house, dropped off her pizza. She gave him a $5 tip. And as he drives away, he turns back and says, I just want to say it's a pretty nice house for a lousy $5 tip. And she says, oh, you're welcome, thinking he was actually saying something nice. Then he said, blank you. Gave her the F-bomb and said, and so she went on Twitter and said, how much should I pay tipping for a $20 pizza? I gave him $5. That's 25%.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's a great tip for a $20 pizza. And she said she's a military veteran. She was hurt in a head-on collision with a drunk driver. She's depending on DoorDash to keep her family fed because she can't do what she normally does. And this guy has the balls to go tell her to blank herself because she gave him a 25% tip. So they fired him. Thank God they fired the DoorDash guy.
Huh. Here's my tip from Remington.
Yeah, a Colt
Start
45.
running.
And the nutball lady on the plane, if you haven't heard this story, this woman a couple of days ago was running up and down an airplane having a total meltdown because she says there was a non-human sitting in the passenger seat near her wearing a hoodie, and it was very strange. And here's this woman actually on the plane screaming before they could take off.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two but I am telling you right now, that back there is not real.
Who?
And you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
And
the guy at the very end, bye.
What amazing to me is that they didn't ever show the video of the guy she was talking about. And we had a guy on the plane earlier, one of the passengers, and was it he or someone else who said that the guy's eyes, when he blinked at him, they blinked sideways and not up and down. His eyelids didn't go up and down, they went sideways, like a reptile.
Yeah.
And he was wearing a hoodie, and he sat there the whole time, never saying a word, just staring at the woman, apparently, and freaked her out, and she thought he was a non-human because his eyes blinked sideways. Well, where's the video of that? The guy was in the plane. How could you not get video of the guy?
I think it's either a reptilian Grim Reaper.
Or death in a hoodie. Where's the scythe? He didn't bring a scythe or whatever it is with him.
Scythe or scythe?
Scythe. I think it's a scythe. I don't know.
Spell it.
I've used a scythe.
Spell it.
SCYTHE.
Very good. Very good.
And my grandfather, the farmer, had one, and I used it.
My grandfather had
one. As a little boy, absolutely. And they work, but they're great for cutting down the hay or cutting down
tall things. For about 10 minutes.
And then your shoulders are going, oh, my God. Yeah, where's the mower?
Same with the sling blade.
Sling blade.
I like them French fried potatoes.
Oh, mercy. Anyway, God, it's 5:49. It's almost time to go. Let's see. Anything left over? Oh, tomorrow we're going to do our own versions of the national anthem, if we remember correctly. We don't have. I messed out on our last comedy bit. We don't have time. Crap. All right. Well, we'll do 5 tomorrow. We'll do a whole bunch tomorrow. I know. I got one last thing. On this day in history, when Jesse Jackson went a little nuts. This is true. The Reverend Jackson, whispering to a colleague on TV, didn't know a presidential candidate, Barack Obama. Jesse didn't know his microphone was on when he said, quote, yeah, you see, Barack's been talking down to black people. I want to cut his nuts off. Later on, he was quoted and heard saying in 1984 during his political presidential campaign, referring to Jews in New York as Heimies in Hymietown. Yes, Reverend Jesse Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, God bless America, the real kind. You know what I'm saying? With Pete and Flounder and Sutton and the Kimber back there, too. And tomorrow we do it all over again. Hoorah, Semper Fi, I gotta go. You're killing me. Hair to herp. Look out.